within 8 hours. If the mission fails, the limbs will be permanently abolished. And the reward for completing the mission is 15 primary strengthening pills. Huaxian was overjoyed, although there was a risk in transferring the money in the last 10 seconds. The 30 extreme rewards were too good to be true. It was equivalent to getting 50 primary strengthening pills in one consumption, which meant 25 million strengthening points. The time was increased to 8 disappearances. And I finally breathed a sigh of relief. Ottilia in the room had just closed her eyes when she received a text message. She took a look and saw that another 100 trillion had arrived. She was already numb. Suddenly she thought of something. This dragon guy might not have so much money, but he had many ways to get money. So in order to keep herself, he had been trying to make money in every possible way? Thinking of this, Ottilia's heart was moved again. Although she was brainwashed by the organization, it does not mean that she has no idea about other things. She suddenly realized that this man might really like her. No, I absolutely cannot betray the organization just because of love. I absolutely cannot. Huaxian, in a good mood, walked towards Polly's room. In the room, Polly cursed angrily. Huaxian, you bastard. You put on your pants and didn't recognize me. You found a new love and forgot your old love. It's me, Polly, who was blind, that's why. Wife, what are you mumbling about? Huaxian, who heard everything clearly, pretended not to know and asked. I'm not complaining about anything, what are you doing here? Go play with your Ottilia. After saying that, he turned around angrily. Huaxian walked over, laid on the bed, hugged her and said, don't be angry, let's do this in the afternoon, and I allow you to be on top. Huaxian discovered from Judy that girls seem to like being on top. Sure enough, Polly's face lit up with joy. Hubby, this is what you said. Don't lie to me. I won't lie to you. Then husband. I want it now. Polly was already impatient. Not now. It's time for lunch, I'll have plenty of time after lunch. Oh, well. Although he said this, he quietly grabbed Huaxian's handle with both hands and played with it for a while. Huaxian got angry and started to fight. Polly was overjoyed. And at the critical moment she said, honey, I'm on top as agreed. Huaxian couldn't wait to say while lying on the bed. Hurry up, or I'll take the initiative. About an hour. Boom boom boom. Honey, lunch is ready it's all very nutritious. Eat first before you get busy, Judy shouted worriedly. I thought, he had just finished up with me and now he was looking for Polly again. Even a strong body wouldn't be able to handle it. Honey, I get it, just wait a moment, it will be done soon. Huaxian and Polly were both at a critical moment. Then hurry up, everyone is waiting. Judy said this deliberately and left with a smile. Polly said dissatisfied lie, she must have done it on purpose. Next time when you are busy at a critical moment, I will also ask you to drink milk tea. Chapter 104, Ancient Martial Arts Alliance. One day later, Huaxian was the first to rush back to the manor. Honey, did you miss me? She threw herself into Huaxian's arms, who greeted her, hugged him tightly, and demanded him madly. This shows how hungry she was during the time she was separated from Huaxian. The people around were stunned. They separated after 5 minutes. Without waiting for Huaxian to ask, Huaxian said excitedly, Hubby, double cultivation, I want double cultivation. I miss the feeling of improvement so much and can't wait. Even the buttons of her shirt were undone, revealing a large area of white. If there hadn't been so many people watching, she would have been completely naked. The young and energetic Huaxian couldn't stand this scene. So he picked up Huaxian and rushed into the room. Fortunately, the manor is big enough and has enough rooms. When they arrived in the room, Huaxian took the initiative and Huaxian became the victim. Regardless of whether Huaxian agreed or not, he just went ahead. Huaxian smiled bitterly and realized that there was a reason why feminism was so serious nowadays. Girls all like to be on top. Huaxian was bored, so he took out his cell phone and checked the time. There were 3 minutes left. I transferred money to Ottilia in the middle of the night last night. And Ottilia was speechless. I thought to myself, this guy must be able to get money from everywhere. And he is so powerful, he must be a member of the Ancient Martial Arts Alliance. Otherwise it would be impossible for him to get so much money. But to the people in the Ancient Martial Arts Alliance, money is just a pile of waste paper. Those people mainly practice cultivation and pursue immortality. Huaxian also earned 40 strengthening pills last night, which was really cool. 3 minutes passed quickly. Last 10 seconds. Hurry up and transfer the last 100 trillion to Ottilia. Ding! Congratulations to the host for completing the maximum consumption of 150 trillion US dollars within 8 hours, and receiving a fixed reward of 15 strengthening pills and an additional reward of 25 strengthening pills. Ding! New mission. Complete the consumption of 200 trillion US dollars within 16 hours. The punishment for failure is permanent disability of limbs. and the reward for completing the mission is 10 primary strengthening pills. Hu Xian was overjoyed when he saw that he had accumulated 160 primary strengthening pills. No more giving away wealth. System, enable the setting of dual cultivation of for attributes and increase each by 10. 0. Ding. Congratulations to the host, you have successfully activated the double for attributes and upgraded the heroine by 10. 0. The next moment, Xian felt a familiar, warm current that made her feel so comfortable that she wanted to scream, attacking her whole body. Honey, what is this? Yes. That's right, my strength has improved, so the benefits of dual cultivation have come earlier. And it's not like before, where I could only improve once a month. That's great, husband. I want to be a Superman in the future and be your best, most awesome wife. Xian was extremely excited. By the time the two of them finished their work, Xian, whose four attributes had increased by 10,000, felt refreshed and comfortable. She nestled into Xian's arms, drawing circles with one hand and said, "Hubby, meeting you is the luckiest thing in my life. Please don't abandon me, okay?" She has become completely obsessed with Hu Xian and can't live without him at all. "Silly boy, when you sleep with me, you are destined to be my woman for the rest of your life. Anyone who dares to touch you will die." "Hubby, you're so nice." At this time Hu Xian's phone rang. "Honey, come and pick us up. Steven and I are at the airport." It was a call from Valia. "Okay, my wives, wait for me at the airport, I'll pick you up right away." "Wife, you should rest well, I will go pick up Varia and the others." "Well, husband, come on." Hu Xian understood what she meant and said with a confident smile, "We won't need to refuel even if we fight another 100 million times." Shayna was stunned. 100 million times? So scary. If I had to bear it all by myself, could I bear it? It's scary to think about it, but luckily I have other sisters. Hu Xian walked out of the room, and Judy, the housekeeper, was waiting at the door all the time. "Honey, are you going out?" "Well, Valio and Steven are back, I'll go pick them up." "Honey, do you need me to accompany you?" "No, I can drive there myself." I went to the garage, drove the cheap car I bought and went out. On the way he transferred another 190 trillion to Ottilia. After receiving the money, Ottilia was completely numb and didn't care. She felt that money was just a bunch of data to her and was not worth mentioning. Arrived at the airport soon. Hu Xian just got out of the car. "Hubby, here." Steven, who saw him first, shouted excitedly. Unfortunately, there was also a wealthy man, a middle-aged man, next to Hu Xian. "Seeing two beautiful women calling you husband? I thought, could it be that changing my hairstyle would make me more attractive?" He said loudly, "Two beauties, no, it should be wives. I'm coming to pick you up right now." After saying that, he walked over quickly. Valio and Steven are already good-looking, and now they are dressed up to meet their husbands. Like stars, which is really eye-catching. A middle-aged man walked over and was about to hug the two of them. This scene made passers-by extremely envious. Unexpectedly, Valio and Steven just went around. Then she threw herself into the arms of Hu Xian, who was also walking over. "Hubby, we missed you so much." They each kissed Hu Xian on the face. "Wife, I miss you too. Come on, let's go home." "Wait," the middle-aged man shouted unhappily. As a wealthy man, he felt that he was being fooled and was very embarrassed. All three of them stopped and looked over. A middle-aged man came over and said, "You two are not capable. Look at his clothes, he is just a poor guy from Longjiuo who wants to make a fortune. What's the point of following him? Look at me, I'm worth tens of millions. I drive a luxury car, I live in a mansion. If you follow me, you can live a good life. Instantly follow me. I promise to spoil you and make you the happiest woman in the world." Puff. Puff. Valio and Steven burst out laughing. "Grandpa, please stop joking, okay? Comparing your birth rate with our husband? You earn tens of millions, just like a beggar." "Hubby, let's go." The middle-aged man was even more furious because of this. "Stop, are you kidding me? Can he compare his assets with mine?" Hu Xian was in no mood to waste time, so he hugged Valio and Steven and left. A middle-aged man still had a bad temper and roared, "So what if you have money? I will send you to heaven." Bang! He shot Hu Xian. The next moment, a wall of air appeared. Click! The bullet hit the wall of air and shattered into pieces in an instant. What is that? For ordinary people, the impact of this scene is too huge and too incredible. In the dark, the people from the US Special Department were also frightened and trembled violently in fear. Ancient Martial Arts Alliance. This is definitely a genius from the Ancient Martial Arts Alliance. No wonder he is so rich, reported quickly. Chapter 105. Charm Value Enhancement. Next second, the air wall condensed into a transparent arrow and flew towards the middle-aged man. With a puff, the middle-aged man covered his heart in horror and watched the blood flow out in disbelief. In the last years of his life, he knew the gap between himself and the young man. He never dreamed that he had offended the legendary person. By the time others reacted, Hu Xian had already driven away with Value and Steven. The two women were also extremely shocked, because when the gunshots were heard, they turned back worriedly and just happened to see everything that happened. Abi, did you create that air wall? Value asked in shock. Yes, I made it. Hu Xian admitted frankly that there was no need to hide it from his own people. Steven, however, asked with great anticipation, Husband, can we do this one day? Well, as long as you keep practicing dual cultivation with me, you will definitely be able to do it. Honey, I'm so excited. I want to practice dual cultivation right now. How about you let Thaya drive and we go to the back seat? After hearing this suggestion, Hu Xian stepped on the accelerator and stopped the car. He thought this was crazy, but also felt a little excited. No, Valia refused outright, thinking to herself, you two practice together and I drive. That's wishful thinking. Why don't I practice together with my husband and you drive? I also think it's inappropriate, Don. Keep it in mind for the time being. There will be plenty of opportunities when you go home. Hu Xian said seriously. Oh, well. Abi, I feel so lucky for our meeting. If I hadn't met you, I would still be a tool used by others to make money. I'm glad I met you. Me too, I have to thank you, Valia. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have met my husband. And I wouldn't be where I am today, and I wouldn't have been deceived by those liars. Both of them were very grateful to be with Hu Xian. Among Hu Xian's women, they have the worst figure, appearance, and status. To put it simply, they are just street girls. There are many girls like them, and Hu Xian completely ignore them. This is also what they are worried and afraid of. Okay. Don't feel inferior to me. In fact, dual cultivation can make you more elegant and beautiful. You need to think about it when you are dual cultivating. We will help you. Really, they both said in unison, unable to believe it. Of course it's true as my wives. I certainly hope you'll be prettier so I can save face. Thank you, husband. The two of them wanted to take off their clothes immediately and become one with Hu Xian to express their gratitude. They quickly returned to the manor, and the two of them, one on the left and one on the right, ignored everyone else and rushed into the room dragging Hu Xian. Abi, wait, you two aren't going to. Abi, we are good friends it's okay, come on. Hu Xian is excited and looking forward to. System, add 10,000 charm value at Rebute enhancement to the 4 attributes. Ding, congratulations to the host, the charm value has been increased successfully. By the time they had forgotten everything, it was already lunchtime. At the dinner table, everyone centered around Hu Xian. Husband eats vegetables. Several women, the better ones, picked up the dishes at the same time and handed them to Hu Xian at the same time. I couldn't be more happy. Hu Xian had no choice but to accept it all. And he didn't have to pick up any food for himself during the entire meal. Lost, sisters Valia and Steven, why do I feel that you two have become more beautiful? Judy had come into contact with the two of them and noticed the changes in them. So she asked in surprise. I also want to have this method of becoming beautiful. Upon hearing this, they were both delighted and thought, my husband really didn't lie to us, he has really become more beautiful. It's all thanks to my husband, Valia said shyly. Although we are all a family, it is still embarrassing to talk about some things. Abi, don't you have any method to make people beautiful? I wanted to. Polly was the first to speak. Others were also looking at Hu Xian. Who doesn't want to become beautiful? Even Aunt Tilia was watching him. Hu Xian said confidently, becoming beautiful is very simple. My skills have improved recently, and I have awakened more mysterious benefits of the dual cultivation technique. If you serve me in the dual cultivation, you will all gain the attribute of becoming more beautiful. And you will become more and more beautiful, Judy said in a knowing tone. I was saying that when Valia and Steven came back, they were not as charming as they are now after practicing dual cultivation with you. My husband, their temperaments have changed drastically. It turns out that the problem lies with you, my husband. No one doubted Hu Xian's words. Polly said, husband, it's time for you to practice dual cultivation with me this afternoon. Right? Wives, husbands are also human beings, and even the strongest bodies need a little rest. The key is that Emily is back, and I'm going to pick her up. Is Emily back too? Then all of us sisters are back together. Judy said. Well, next, everyone, help me discuss how to develop. The United States cannot acquire it for the time being. So let's see how to develop it. Otilia said, not all places in the United States are off limits. There are no restrictions in the South, the primeval forests, and the primitive tribes. Polly said speechless lie. Although the primitive forest tribe belongs to the United States, it is actually independent and is of course not affected by the ban. Hearing this, Hu Xian's eyes lit up and he said, then it's confirmed. After Emily comes back, you can make corrections for 3 days. And then we will head to the primitive forest tribe. I thought that as long as it was American land, it would be part of the acquisition. Honey, do you really want to go there? I heard it's very dangerous there. There are super huge jungle monsters, giant crocodiles, all kinds of poisonous beasts, cannibals, etc., Stephen said with some fear. Polly said, Sister Stephen, you and the rest of us are following our husbands. We are no longer ordinary people if you are afraid of this place. How can you follow your husband in the future? It's clear from the first glance that my husband is going to rule the world. How can we hold him back? Hearing this, Stephen fell silent. She wasn't afraid, she was just subconsciously worried. Valia said, Stephen only told my husband about the dangers of the primitive forest tribe so that he could prepare in advance. He will not back down. Stephen said, my bureau will not back down. I will go wherever my husband goes, even if it's hell. Okay, I understand your intentions, and I don't doubt your determination to follow me. I will never dislike any of you. After dinner, Oxien drove alone to borrow Emily. No one was jealous, after all, the two of them also needed their own space. When we got to the cabin, Emily wasn't there yet. Oxien found a place where he could be seen and sat down to wait. Not long after, a voice came, Boss. Oxien, who was dozing off, opened his eyes and looked over. It was the most beautiful woman in France who. Nitier beside her, there was a young man holding her arm. Chapter 106, Nitier's Regret. Originally, Oxien didn't think much of it. Although Nitier was very beautiful and his type, she had her own choice. He can't just take advantage of his corruption to do whatever he wants to anyone. However, when Oxien accidentally heard the young man's thoughts through mind reading, he frowned. Seeing Oxien looking at the young man, Nitier introduced him enthusiastically. Boss, let me introduce you. This is my boyfriend, Caro D. Then he said to Car Rudy, this is the very wealthy super boss Oxien that I told you about. Oxien, hello, thank you very much for not doing anything to Nitier. Otherwise there would be no share for me, but I was thinking in my heart. What a stupid thing, I don't want to take such a beauty to bed and admire her. Oxien did not shake hands. He stared at Nitier and asked, I'm curious, what's so good about this guy that he attracted your admiration? Upon hearing this, Nitier almost had a flash of disgust in her eyes. Thinking, as expected, the boss approaches me with a purpose. He must be regretting why I didn't choose him even though he is so rich. Boss, I Nitier am not a materialistic woman. I take your salary and help you with things. As for choosing love, that is my own right. By the way, Caro Di and I have booked a room, so I won't waste your time. After saying that, he took Caro Di's wrist and was about to leave. Carlotti also gave him a look of contempt. Oxien said coldly, a fake noble who only wants your attention. Are you so impatient to get a room with him? Hearing this, Nitier stopped. Caro D was furious. You lowly dragon countryman. Look at your sloppy temperament. You are obviously working for others. Your money must be given to you by your mother's boss. You are just a stupid victim. How dare you humiliate me as a fake noble? Oxien smiled coldly. If I hadn't exposed you, a true noble, facing such a thing, you shouldn't be as furious as you are. Right? Nitier is not a fool. She herself is also a noble. Indeed, if she was called a fake noble, she would only be dismissive and think that it was just the envy of incompetent people. However, she frowned when she saw that Caro D, whom she thought was a good match for her, was so irritable. Seeing this, Caro D was shocked. He quickly suppressed the urge and anger to kill Oxien and said, Nidia, don't get me wrong, I just don't like being humiliated by a piece of trash from Dragon Country. Look at him, he has no temperament at all. What qualifications does a piece of trash have to insult my noble status? Oxien smiled, you want to compete with me in temperament, right? System, increase my charm by 1 million. Ding! Congratulations to the host, you have successfully enhanced your charm value to 1 million and obtained the title of the most handsome man. In an instant, super charming charm burst out from Oxien. Passers-by nearby couldn't help but be attracted by the sight. After it landed on Oxien, it could no longer move. Oh my god, how can there be such a perfect and handsome man in the world? A little girl exclaimed. So handsome, that temperament is the best I have ever seen. One of a kind, unique, I want to marry him. I want to marry him. 2. Countless girls went crazy and gathered around. Looking at Oxien was such a perfect Torah, other men could not even feel jealous. Nitier was also stunned. He is even more perfect than the male protagonist in the movie. This is the man she has always dreamed of. I didn't expect it to be right in front of me. But I still despised and hid it again and again. System. Cover up my charm value. Ding, successfully concealed the charm value. Even though Oxien concealed his charm, everyone still centered around him. Oxien looked at Ken Odi and said, A truly perfect man will never show his best side to others. Because that would be a nuisance. Do you see these beautiful young girls around me? Will you marry me? We do, the girls shouted wildly. Huaxian smiled, glanced at Nidia and turned away. At this moment, Nidia felt empty in her heart, as if she had lost something most precious. Boss, wait for me. Make way, he shouted anxiously, trying to squeeze through the crowd and catch up with Huaxian. Huaxian naturally didn't wait for him. He can accept any girl. But he can also reject a very good girl. He has no shortage of girls around him. What you don't have, no matter how beautiful it is, you can forget about it. Only if he knows the truth will he cherish it at all costs. Hubby, here. Emily finally came out. Huaxian smiled and walked over quickly. Under the watchful eyes of everyone, he gave Emily a big hug. Buddy, why are there so many people here? Emily also wanted to be intimate with Huaxian, but there were too many people, and they were all staring at them. She also noticed that the way these people looked at her seemed to be extremely envious. They are all my suitors. Emily understood instantly. Hubby, you are so rich, you have almost acquired 1/10 of the United States. It is normal for them to want to pursue you. Let's run away quickly. Okay, let's run. The two held hands and fled from here as quickly as possible. In the distance, Nidia, who was blocked outside by the crowd, felt that she had lost her most precious treasure. An Odi came to her and put his arms around her waist. Nidia struggled to get away and roared, "Stop it, the boss is right. You are a fake noble, you approached me just to possess my body. Let's break up." Having said that, he left. She now had only one thought in mind: to find her boss and get his forgiveness. Such an outstanding person. Nidia must not miss the chance. Bang! But Kanodi slapped her hard and cursed. Bitch, I came all the way to France with you, and you tell me to break up? After saying that, he grabbed Nidia's hand and said viciously, "You want to break up, right? Okay, the room is ready. Let's sleep together, and then you and I will go our separate ways." He dragged Nidia away. "Help, help," Nidia shouted for help. However, everyone at the airport knew his and Kanodi's identities. I thought to myself, this woman is pretty, but she is not a good woman. After seeing the charm of that dragon man, she dumped her current boyfriend. She deserved it. So no one helped her. Nidia was scared. She couldn't lose the most precious thing a woman had. Because she knew that once she lost it, he and the boss would never have another chance. By the way, boss. He quickly took out his phone and called Huaxian. Huaxian hung up directly. Nidia's heart sank. Had to call again. The phone was disgusted again, and Emily asked, "Honey, who is calling? Why don't you answer it?" Chapter 107. Something happened. Huaxian, who was driving, threw the phone to Emily and said, "It's Nidia calling." "Nidia? Is that the most beautiful girl in France who?" "Nidia?" Emily asked in surprise. "Yes, it's her. Honey, such a beautiful woman contacted you and you actually refused." Emily asked in surprise. In her opinion, her husband would not refuse any beautiful woman. Huaxian said angrily, "She is just a self-righteous woman. She is also my employee. Honey, she won't have any health problems. You will refuse, right?" Huaxian said speechlessly, "I haven't had any contact with her. How do I know if there is anything wrong with her body?" Emily answered the phone curiously. "Hey boss, save me? This madman Kanodi is trying to force me to drive." Ding dong. Then there was a loud noise. The sound of a cell phone falling to the ground. Emily said, "Honey, something seems to have happened to Nidia." Huaxian hesitated for a while, but turned the car around and drove back. He took out his cell phone on the way and hacked directly into Nidia's communication records, selecting a number with the longest chat time and hacking into it. The location of the number was quickly locked down, and it was indeed near a hotel at the airport, and was approaching the hotel. Huaxian drove over as fast as he could. This side of the hotel. Nidia struggled and was dragged towards the room by Kanodi. Because it was a customized room online with identity information. The staff saw what was happening between the two people but did not stop them. A security guard came over and asked, "What are you doing?" Kanodi, I said. "My girlfriend and I have a conflict because of something going on at home. This is our chance of booking a room." The two of them booked the couple suite using the same identity. So I had their identity information, and after verifying that it was correct, I ignored them. At this moment, Nidia regretted it to death. She finally believed what Huaxian said. Kanodi, I was a fake nobleman and had been deceiving her all along for her body. It was really despicable. However, at this moment, she had no choice but to pray that Huaxian could come to save her. Helplessly, she was brought to the hotel by Carlode and taken into the elevator under the curious gaze of the front desk clerk. Carlode could not wait to take advantage of her. Nidia struggled hard. The harder she struggled, the more excited Carlodi became. Nidia, struggle, roar. Carodi, you beast, you will get your retribution. Nidia roared in despair and cursed. Retribution? Haven't I done enough bad things? Do you think I've suffered retribution? I'm still alive and well, while those self-righteous good people have ended up in a worse way than the last. The elevator door opened, and Carodi picked up Nidia and rushed towards the room number excitedly. Nidia took this opportunity and bit Carodi's neck hard. Damn it, let him go, Carodi roared in pain. Nidia bit it tightly and refused to let go. Boom. Carodi had no choice but to throw her to the ground. Nidia seized the opportunity and stood up to escape. Carodi rushed over, grabbed Nidia's hair, and said viciously, "Bitch, you dare to bite me, wait for me." He actually grabbed Nidia's hair and walked towards the room. When you arrive at the door of room 908, you can open the door using the booking permission on your phone. With a click, the door opened, and Carodi picked up Nidia and rushed in. He was so anxious that he even forgot to close the door. He threw Nidia heavily onto the bed and pounced on her. Help, help, Nidia made her last struggle and shouted for help. A waiter was attracted by the sound. Boom boom boom. He knocked on the unlocked door and asked, "What's going on with you guys?" Hearing the sound so clearly, Kanode turned around and shouted, "Is this how your hotel opens guests' rooms without permission?" The waiter was shocked if he was complained about. He would be fined. He quickly explained, "Sir, you misunderstood. Our room is very soundproof. It was you who didn't close the door. Also, what does this lady mean by asking for help? If you don't explain, I will call the police. We are a couple, can't we have some fun?" He's talking nonsense. He and I are not a couple. He wants playing. Kanode had already walked over and slammed the door shut. A waiter hesitated whether to call the police, but finally thought, "It has nothing to do with me, so I should just forget it. What if they are really a couple who are having a perverted and exciting time? Wouldn't I be asking for trouble?" Kanode thought he had a sure win, and said with an evil smile, "Nidia, aren't you the most beautiful woman in France who? From now on, you are my woman. Kanode, don't mess around. I tell you, if you dare." "Shut up, everyone knows we are a couple. And you have posted our couple photos on your social media. So it's useless for you to say anything. Nidia, here I come. Fly over." Nidia dodged in panic and tried to escape, but was grabbed by Kanode and pulled back. He grabbed her already torn clothes and tore them again. Nidia struggled hard, but as an ordinary girl, how could she struggle against a strong man like Kanode? "Come on, Nidia, I will treat you well." Nidia was desperate. Suddenly I felt so angry. I hated Huexi and he actually watched me die without helping. He was so heartless. Clang. With a loud bang, the door of the room was kicked open. The sudden movement made Kanode look over with a crazy look. Nidia also looked over in despair. Seeing that familiar face, she was ecstatic he did not abandon her. Did he have her in his heart? Huexi walked over step by step. They're looking for death. Kanode was furious when his good time was interrupted. He stood up and rushed towards Huexi and punched him. Bang! Huexi kicked him out. Clang! The glass was broken and the body fell heavily to the ground. Nidia stood up and threw herself into Huexi's arms regardless of anything. Emily behind him retreated silently when she saw the security guards coming. She immediately showed her CID and stopped these people. "By the way, I also closed the deformed door. Boss, thank you, I knew you wouldn't just watch me get bullied." Huayushu. Hugging Huexi tightly, Nidia burst into tears. Huexi said calmly, "Put on your clothes and go home." After saying that, he pushed Nidia away and turned away. Nidia stood there in a daze. "Look at my body, flawless. How could it be possible? How could this lustful man with countless women around him not be moved by myself like this? No, it's fake. He must be pretending. He must be playing hard to get, waiting for me to take the initiative to keep him." Nidia thought so as she watched Huexi walk towards the door of the room, firmly believing that he would stop, turn around, and then knock her down. Chapter 108, Who Bullied Whom? Click. The door opened and Huexi walked out. At this moment, Nidia suddenly realized that he was not playing hard to get. Facing her naked body, he actually refused. How is that possible? This is not true. Outside, Emily was also stunned. She looked at Huexi curiously and asked, "Abi, you? Let's go home." Huexi interrupted her and pulled her away. "No, you're lying to me." Nidia yelled, rushed out, and hugged Huexi tightly from behind. Huexi frowned and said, "Nidia, you are a girl. Go put on your clothes and go home. There are so many surveillance cameras here." "No, I'm not going anywhere. I just wanna be yours." Nidia cried and pleaded. "Sorry, you're not my type." Huexi pried her hands apart and pushed her away. No, I beg you, please, don't do this. I know I was wrong. I shouldn't have treated you like that before. Please give me a chance. Okay. Huaxian left without looking back. Nidier suddenly yelled. If you don't want me, I will die in front of you. Rushed back into the room and climbed up to the window. Damn it, I really owe you. Even if Huaxian didn't want to say goodbye to such a beauty, he naturally didn't want to see her die. What's more, it was because of his death. So he appeared in the room and pulled Nidier back. Nidier threw herself into Huaxian's arms and said with a triumphant smile, I knew you couldn't bear to leave me. After saying that, she took the initiative, hugged Huaxian's neck, kissed him deeply, and demanded it. Emily closed the door again. In this situation, Huaxian no longer refused and naturally won over Nidier. After more than an hour, Nidier lay contentedly on Huaxian's chest and said sweetly, Hubby, you are so amazing, no wonder so many girls are willing to follow you. Huaxian was a little indifferent, not bad. Nidier felt very uncomfortable when she heard this tone. She also knew very well that it was all caused by her previous arrogance. I secretly hated myself for being so stupid. Why was I so stupid before? Let's go, get out of here. Huaxian got up and put on his clothes. Nidier also quickly got up and put on her clothes, then said shyly, Honey, I have no clothes. Huaxian looked back, handed his clothes to him, and walked out shirtless. Emily smiled. How is it, husband? Huaxian smiled and said, Same old, I still like being with you. My wife, that's what happiness is. Nidier, who followed behind, felt even more upset. Was Entiat happy to be with her? I clenched my fists and swore in my heart that one day I would get your recognition. Then he returned to the manor. Honey, you guys are back? A group of women gathered around. Nidia found that each of these women was more beautiful than the other, so she had no intention of punishing the ugly ones. Suddenly he put away his vanity, thinking that he could have a place among Huaxian's women with his beauty. Ottilia in particular made her feel inferior. Now that everyone is here, everyone should have a good rest in the next 3 days. We will set off with the primitive forest tribe in 3 days. Honey, are we all going? Jui asked. She was always a housekeeper and was worried that Huaxian would not take her with him. Of course, I can't let any of you stay here and be widowed. Yeah, thank you, husband. Judy was delighted. After lunch, Huaxian naturally went to practice dual cultivation with Emily again. But for attributes exceeding 10 million, Huaxian's current body genes are equivalent to a terrifying existence that has unlocked the 4th level gene lot. With these women who are slightly stronger than ordinary people, he will not feel tired even if he fights day and night. With this advantage, he dared to expand his harem. 3 days passed quickly. During this period, Huaxian transferred a total of 3 times to Ottilia, from 240 trillion, 300 trillion, to 350 trillion, received a total of 85 primary strengthening pills. Ottilia's total assets also exceeded 1 trillion, or 1 rillion. In response, Ottilia expressed complete numbness. A group of 9 people, accompanied by bodyguards, arrived at the Fransu airport because there was no direct private plane to the primeval forest tribe. They can only take a plane to nearby Dilansu, and then take a car to the primitive forest tribe. On the plane, we were originally planning to charter a plane. But there were no vacant planes, so we had no choice but to buy tickets. And because they arrived late, they were not seated together yet. So they had to sit separately. The 8 beauties all have perfect figures and charming looks, and are all the kind that can charm everyone. Some people are not honest when flying. Next to Valia, a young man said, This beautiful lady. My name is Sast, and I am the young director of the Wenguan group. Let's exchange contact information. In the past, whenever he revealed his identity, girls would throw themselves at him, just because Wenguan Group is one of the top 100 companies in the United States. As a young director, you can see how precious his identity is. And Valia, whose charm value has been enhanced by 10. Zaro, is indeed unique and charming. Sorry, I'm not interested in you. Also, my husband is on the plane, so please respect yourself. Valia politely refused and warned the other party. Beauty, you are so young, and you already have a husband? However, your husband is definitely not worthy of you. Where is he? I will discuss it with him, and maybe he will give you to me out of inferiority. Valia said with disgust, You are worse than a dog in front of my husband. You are shameless. Sast was furious and slapped abstract Kalia in the face. The current Kalia is not the same Kalia as before. She grabbed Sast's wrist and squeezed it hard. Click. Sast's wrist was crushed directly. The sound of slaughtering pigs spread across half the plane. Bealia was also a little scared, and kept comforting herself in her heart. Don't be afraid, you are going with your husband to a primitive forest tribe full of dangers and cannibals. You can't be afraid. What's going on? A flight attendant walked over quickly and asked. This guy tried to molest me, so I punished him, Valya said after calming down his inner panic. It's Saster, the junior director of the Wenguan group. I've seen him on the news. After recognizing the identity of the young victim, several flight attendants looked at Valya with unfriendly eyes. One person said coldly, You dare to hurt Master Sast like this? I think you don't want to survive anymore. Valya frowned. You are really dogs. You think his identity is more precious than mine. So you want to bully me indiscriminately? Another flight attendant asked. Who bullied you? There are so many people watching here. Who bullied who? Chapter 109, Fakata. It was him who bullied my wife. Huaxian walked over and said, Dragon people, you'd better not meddle in other people's business. A flight attendant gave a warning look. Another truth. You are so poor, and you want to be a hero and save the beauty. How poor is our husband? Otilia and the others came over. Seeing that it was a group of beautiful women, the passengers at the scene were stunned with shock. Huaxian smiled and said, Your sister Valya was bullied by this guy and the three low-minded stewardesses. You guys handle it. After saying that, he kissed Xian. Who was in the lead, on the lips and was about to leave. Stephen didn't dare, honey, I want one too. My husband and I. Hubby, I want one too. Huaxian could only reward them with sweet kisses one by one. Afterwards, Sast was beaten to a pulp and had no chance to bully girls anymore. He could only be sisters with girls. The three flight attendants were also slapped several times. The chief steward arrived, but didn't dare to say a word. Suddenly someone recognized Valya and the others and exclaimed. I remember that they are the ones who helped a dragon countryman to frantically acquire our American industries. So, the young dragon countryman just now is the dragon countryman behind the scenes. Everyone on the plane was shocked. Because the dragon people bought almost 1/10 of the United States. So crazy, so powerful. I finally understand why others dare to do whatever they want. What kind of cultural management group is this? It's just a piece of cake in front of them. After knowing their identities, no one looked at Valya and the others recklessly anymore. They're all worried about getting into trouble. 3 hours passed. In the last few seconds, Huaxian took out his mobile phone. Because there was no signal, he used hacking technology to transfer the last 100 trillion to Otilia. Ding, congratulations to the host, you have completed the consumption limit of $400 trillion within 24 hours. And received 5 primary strengthening pills as a reward. If you complete the task to the limit, you will receive an additional 10 primary strengthening pills as a reward. Ding, new mission, complete the consumption of $500 trillion within 36 hours. Failure of the mission will result in permanent paralysis of the limbs. Completion of the mission will reward 3 primary strengthening pills. Although there are rewards for completing the task at the limit. When the task is completed at the limit, the system will judge that the task is too difficult and will subconsciously extend the time and reduce the difficulty. So naturally the rewards will become less and less. However, the reward for completing the limit was very generous. So Huaxian didn't care. It was late at night when we arrived at our destination. Delansu International Airport. Someone had already contacted the doctor. And the injured were given priority. The first person he came up and carried away the disabled Saster. In addition, a large number of armed personnel surrounded the plane, making ordinary passengers afraid to act recklessly. Polly, Olyu and Emily were the first to get off the plane. A black officer came over immediately, and the weapons in the hands of the others were aimed at them. Especially when they saw Huaxian, they all aimed at him. Emily said something when trying with her ID first. CIED is still very useful. The other party did not dare to make things difficult for him. He returned the certificate and said, You can leave now. My husband, and my companions. Alini wanted to do something. The other party refused. Sorry, you don't have the authority to take them away. What about me? After the other party took it and looked at it, his expression changed drastically. And he immediately saluted with standard military strength. Captain. Before he could speak, Polly said seriously, Keep it a secret. Can we go now? Please, he respectfully made way. The other soldiers, seeing their superiors react strongly and give way, dared not to do so. The evildoers on the plane, who thought they were in trouble, watched Huaxian and his team leave in shock. Oh my god, the women around that dragon countryman seemed to be more powerful than the other. Even the army doesn't make things difficult for them. I thought that no matter how rich he was done for this time. But I didn't expect that nothing would happen to him. I suddenly discovered a problem. It seems that the Wenguan group has offended someone who should not be offended. But the financial resources of the dragon countryman. Is it difficult to target the Wenguan group? Everyone suddenly realized that disaster was about to happen to the cultural management group. Honey, it would be best to have a tour guide when we go to the primeval forest tribe. We can hire a tour guide for the trip, or we can rent a group of mercenaries to solve some unnecessary troubles, Polly suggested. Huaxian nodded and said, Guide, yes. But it must be a woman. Forget about mercenaries. The primeval forest is such a beautiful place. It would be more convenient for me and my wives to do something without other men. Hearing this, some of them blushed. Emily said, Husband, you are so thoughtful. The others naturally had no objection. After all, dual cultivation could improve their strength. Besides, they are all young girls, and everyone has needs. Then we came to Fakata, the border town closest to the primeval forest in Delan continent. Although this is a small town, it is very lively and prosperous. Let's eat first, and then go find the tour guide, Huaxian arranged. Then we walked into a specialty restaurant. At this time, Huaxian's phone rang, and it was Sophia calling. This was an employee he had previously hired from the acquisition industry. He answered the phone anyway. Boss, is that you? It's me, Sophia. Aren't you on vacation? Why are you still here? Huaxian asked curiously. Boss, I'll be there right away. Then he hung up the phone. When Huaxian and his friends walked in, the place was already packed with people. There is no way. The town of Fakata is close to the primeval forest. There are tour groups from all over the United States, as well as merchant groups, adventurers, and so on that go to the primeval forest tribes to trade. This also makes the small town of Fakata prosperous, and its GDP is very high. There were only 9 of Huaxian's group, and there was no room for them if they squeezed together. Dear guests, I'm sorry, we are full. Please go to another restaurant. The man came out and said respectfully. Huaxian and his friends had no choice but to change to another company. At this time Sophia ran in panting. Although she is around 40 years old, she has a very good figure and is well maintained with the vigorous movement of her running. Her breasts sway very eye-catching. Huaxian couldn't help but take a look. The owner of the restaurant saw Sophia's attitude and said, Madam Boss, you are here. The 3 words boss lady made Sophia's face turn red instantly. The real boss was here, and it would be bad if the boss disliked her. She secretly glanced at Huaxian, and was relieved to see that he was not angry. He said sternly, What do you mean by changing to another one? Do you want to quit your job? Do you know that this is the real owner of the restaurant? What? I work for him. Why don't you arrange a private room for him? Chapter 110, Tight Temptation. In the box, Huaxian asked, Sophia, didn't I notify you to take paid leave? Sophia smiled bitterly and said, Boss, I'm divorced and I don't have any children. My parents don't like me either. I have to look at their faces when I go back. It's so good here. The scenery is great and everyone likes me. By the way, boss, 70 of the properties here are under your name. Did you come here specially to inspect it? After saying that, she looked at the other girls, feeling extremely envious. I envy them for being young and beautiful, and for being able to pursue the boss. A boss's woman. I am old and married, so I have no chance. Didn't the United States issue a ban? We can't buy it. So let's go to the primeval forest and see if we can buy it. Sophia was stunned. Then he said, But boss, let's not talk about the primitive forest tribe first. The people there are suitable for the original tribe and it is difficult to communicate. In the history of the United States, we have sent many teams to negotiate. But to no avail, so we had to let them exist independently. It's just a small problem, just treat it as a trip. Huaxian said casually, not taking the difficulties of the primitive forest tribe to heart at all. Sophia asked expectantly, Then boss, can I go with you? You're going too? Aren't you afraid? It was Huaxian's turn to be surprised. I'm scared, but boss, so many of you are going, I'm bored alone. So I want to go see the world. It's up to you then. If you want to go, go ahead. That's settled then, thank you, boss. After eating, Sophia learned that Huaxian and his friends were going to hire a tour guide. She enthusiastically led the way and said, Boss, the tourist street in Fakata is also your property. Huaxian nodded, thinking that this was pretty good. Wherever he went, it was his own business. It was a great feeling. Soon we arrived at the tourist street and the tour guide center. Huaxian and the others haven't gone in yet. A group of men and women, young and old, gathered around. Handsome guy, beautiful girl. Are you looking for a tour guide? I'm Balin T, the most famous tour guide in Fakata town. I'm very familiar with the primitive forest tribes. I'm Hakdon T. Underestimate me because I'm very experienced. I'm cheap and everyone in town knows me. I promise to take you there and bring you back safely. Everyone rushed to recommend themselves. Okay, all of you can leave. This is the boss, and he's here to inspect his own business. Sophia walked over and said. Seeing Sophia, everyone stood in awe and greeted her respectfully. Hello, Madam Boss. Huaxian smiled bitterly. He was the boss and Sophia was the boss and Sophia was the boss's wife. It all sounded weird. Sophia secretly glanced at Hu Xian and was secretly happy to see that he was just smiling bitterly and was not angry. Naturally, these people did not dare to surround Hu Xian and the others anymore and immediately came inside. A truly great tour guide won't bother to solicit customers. Boss, what kind of tour guide do you want? Sophia asked. For women, the more experience the better for others. Sophia smiled and said, Boss, I know one, follow me. Everyone followed the mysterious Sophia inside. At the back is the staff rest area, which is a bit messy but generally okay. Soon they arrived at the innermost, relatively quiet single room. Sophia called out from a distance. Agnes, are you there? Boss, this Agnes is also a tour guide. She has been doing this since she was a child when she was 8 years old. She went into the primeval forest alone and came back alive a week later. She was injured some time ago and she ran out of money. So I arranged for her to stay here. By the way, she is an orphan. Madam Boss, why are you here? A dark-skinned black girl in the room opened the door and asked. Seeing so many people, she frowned. Obviously, she didn't like the crowds. Sophia walked over, took her hand, and said enthusiastically, Agnes, this is our boss, Mr. Hu, and these are the boss wives. Our boss is going to the primitive forest tribe to discuss business. Since it's his first time here, he needs a tour guide. Since the people accompanying him are all the boss wives, he wants to find an experienced female tour guide. You are the first person I thought of. Sorry madam, you know I don't like crowds. Agnes refused directly. Sophia quickly said, Agnes, don't be so quick to refuse. I want to go too. You're going too? Agnes was shocked. She was really grateful to Sophia, who had given her a lot of help since she came to the small town of Fakata. Then he advised, Madam, you'd better forget it not to mention the primitive forest tribe. Even the buffer forest in the past of Fakata town is full of dangers. Agnes, our boss wants to go. I hope you can agree. Our boss is very generous and he won't treat you unfairly. Agnes said, Your boss is very lecherous. Forehead. Sophia didn't know what to say. With 7 or 8 wives, who would believe that he is not lustful? Hu Xian smiled and said, Give me the leadership, I will pay you $1 million a day. If you agree, I will immediately transfer it a positive 10 million to you. Hu Xian also became interested in Agnes, who had a unique personality. Agnes did not doubt it after all. Sophia had acquired 70 of Fakata's assets. And there were not many people in the town who didn't know about it. After hesitating for a while, he said, Okay, for the sake of the boss lady, I'll agree to transfer the money. He directly handed his bank card to Hu Xian. Hu Xian did not hesitate and transferred the money directly. But it's not the money in the system account, but the personal account. Countless amounts of money were deposited into this account every day, all of which was earned from the industries he acquired. Agnes received a text message soon after transferring 10 million. Took back the bank card and said, Wait for me to change clothes. So I went back to the room. In about 5 minutes, Agnes had changed into a set of tights suitable for outdoor sports and was already carrying a backpack. Seeing that Hu Xian and the others hadn't prepared anything, he reminded them, You'd better prepare a few more sets of clothes. It's best to have tight clothes that fit closely to the skin without any gaps, because this way the poisonous insects can't get into the body. These are all experiences. Hu Xian nodded. Then let's go buy the things we need to enter the forest tomorrow. Are you going in tomorrow? Agnes asked with a frown. Hu Xian said, It can also be now. Then now. And Agnes led the way to the outdoor adventure equipment store. He was walking in front, and because of the close-fitting material of the tights, her figure was perfectly shown, and some marks could be clearly seen. Many people looked at it with surprise. Soon we arrived at the equipment store. And the owner was very enthusiastic. Agnes, you are here. What equipment do you want to buy? It's not me, it's the boss lady and the boss. Chapter 111, Departure to the Primeval Forest. He looked at the crowd behind him in confusion, and then he saw Sophia. Sophia was introducing the store to Hu Xian enthusiastically. Boss, this store is also your business. Boss lady. Aulant, this is the boss come here to pick out equipment for entering the Primeval Forest tribe. I have the best recommendations, Sophia introduced. Hu Xian discovered that Aulant was a cripple. Noticing Hu Xian's gaze, Sophia explained, Aulant was once a very remarkable adventurer. He was familiar with all kinds of equipment, so it's okay. Please recommend some equipment to us. Boss, follow me. He took Hu Xian and the others into the inner room and said, Boss, all the equipment here are top-notch, you can choose whatever you need. After saying that, he left tactfully. Good. Agnes, please recommend one. Agnes did not refuse this. For ladies who wear this, it is recommended that each person prepare at least 2 sets. Don't underestimate it because it is a tight-fitting garment. It is very good at keeping warm in winter and cool in summer. However, it is very expensive. However, this store is yours. So you can choose whatever you want. Valya and the others all took a set of clothes and quickly changed into them. After a while, they all came out. Huaxian couldn't wait to look over and almost vomited blood. The perfect curves under the tights are simply softcore weapons, with such strong lethality that they make the right ones big and the right ones small. Fortunately, considering the embarrassment, these top suits are all designed to be seamless. Unlike Agnes's, which have obvious marks that make people think about something impure. It was fortunate that he did this, otherwise Huaxian felt that he would have gone crazy. Agnes, why don't you change your equipment too? Huaxian subconsciously looked at the mark and said. Then he noted, free. Noticing Huaxian's gaze, Agnes glared at him fiercely. And without any hesitation, she directly chose the best one to exchange. Honey, how is it? Does it look good? Xina asked. It looks good, very good, I like it very much. Thank you. Husband. Hubby, what about me? What about me? Do I look good? You all look good, so hurry up and choose other equipment. Honey, hurry up and choose a set to change into, Stephen urged. Yes, husband, quickly choose a set and change into it. Everyone is also looking forward to how Huaxian will look in this outfit. Huaxian chuckled and said, okay, don't look around for a while. TSK, we won't do anything rash. It's not like we haven't seen it before. I thought, I've used them all before, what's so good about them? Huaxian quickly changed into a set of men's tights. The design was ergonomic although it was very tight. It did not pinch the body, it was more flexible and convenient than ordinary loose clothes and pants, and was very suitable for outdoor adventure equipment. Honey, are you ready? Stephen asked loudly. Everyone else had a smile on their face. Huaxian took a look at his penis, chuckled and walked out. All eyes subconsciously looked towards his dick. Even Agnes is no exception. It's so big, he muttered after seeing it. Hurry up and prepare your equipment so that you can set off. Then everyone prepared their equipment under Agnes's command. They walked out of the equipment shop together. A group of 11 people walking on the street in their fully equipped equipment was the most dazzling scenery, attracting people's attention and making it impossible to take their eyes off. Many people followed along the way. There were countless people taking photos and videos. Huaxian doesn't care, you can't see through it anyway. Very soon came to the off-road vehicle market. Fortunately, this is also Huaxian's property. 11 people selected to large off-road vehicles, bought a lot of supplies, and set off for the primeval forest tribe. Along the way, you can see many vehicles parked nearby, and some people fishing, swimming, etc. by the river, because it is close to Fakata. It is very safe and a good place for tourism. At the same time, there are fully armed military and police patrolling. About an hour, the road ahead was blocked by a checkpoint. Who are you? We have entered the primeval forest ahead. Please turn around and leave, asked an officer. Ali had her own documents in trouble. Seeing that he was someone from the special department, the other party didn't dare to ask him any more questions and let him go directly. And, across the bridge is the outskirts of the primeval forest. To the north, there is a river about 100 meters long that separates the village and serves as a natural barrier. It's not that there are no people there are still other people. Hunters, adventurers and the like. Human waste is everywhere. After walking about a kilometer, there was no road and there were big trees everywhere. Everyone had to get off the bus. Agnes said, let's find a place to hide the car and store part of the house inside. We'll need it when we come back. No one had any objection to this and we found a relatively secluded place and parked the car. If we carry as much food and other items as possible, it will take us 10 days to reach the primitive forest tribe from here. Even if we don't eat or drink and don't encounter any trouble, it will take at least 15 days at the fastest. Except for Sophia. No one thought much of carrying large and small bags of things. After all, they all had for attributes exceeding 10,000, which was equivalent to unlocking the second level gene lock. Only Sophia was just an ordinary woman. Sophia, just carry your own bag and leave the rest to us, Huaxian said with concern. How can that be possible? The boss lady and the others are carrying so many things. And I'm just an employee, I can't let him be lazy, Sophia said stubbornly. You are different from them, look at my wives, they carry so many things. Aren't you used to it? Agnes also looked at Valya and the others curiously. They were obviously a group of women who had been doing rough and hard work. They carried more things than her, but they didn't feel uncomfortable at all. It was really strange. Sophia was very curious. Emily said, we are all martial artists. Hearing this, Sophia suddenly came to her senses, and then she stopped insisting and took with her what she could afford. Set off immediately. After walking for almost half an hour, Agnes, who was carrying so much supplies, was a little out of breath. Sophia was extremely tired, but fortunately Valya supported her all the way. Seeing that everyone had stopped, Sophia said bitterly, "Am I useless?" Thalia said quickly, "Sister Sophia, please stop saying that. You are a little older than us, and you are not a martial artist. It is normal for you to be hardworking." Huaxian said, "Let's take a break and then go. The main purpose of our trip this time is to buy out the primitive forest tribe. The main thing is to eat, drink and have fun. On team is the scenery because of the rush." Chapter 112, Refusing to form a team. With Huaxian's words, people no longer travel just for the sake of traveling. "Honey, thank you. To be honest, the air here is fresh and the scenery is picturesque. I love it so much," Stephen said excitedly and kissed Huaxian on the face. "I also think that it's so happy to be in such an environment with the person I love most." Elia also said and kissed Huaxian on the lips. Xiayine and the others didn't miss it either. Sophia saw this scene and smiled bitterly. She was very envious. When she thought about it carefully, she realized that she hadn't kissed a man for many years since she had been hurt by a man. Agnes rolled her eyes and walked away, unable to stand their affectionate display. "Hey ladies, there are no outsiders here. Who among you wants to experience double cultivation in the wild?" They fled one by one. After all, there are 2 outsiders here and they can't let go. Sophia was the only one left at the scenes. He asked curiously, "Boss, what is outdoor dual cultivation?" Huaxian looked embarrassed. How could he say this? "Nothing, just a joke." Sophia looked so close. Very handsome, and wearing a tight-fitting outfit, her body lines were particularly eye-catching. Huaxian felt a little eager to make a move. Mainly because there is no one else now. Magnetic. Suddenly, a voice like this came from the side. Huaxian and Sophia looked over almost at the same time. A spotted snake, with its tongue sticking out, crawled over. Big bug. Sophia screamed and frightened subconsciously jumped onto Huaxian. Because she was too scared, she jumped a little too much and held Huaxian's head with both hands, pressing it tightly on her chest, and clamped Huaxian's body tightly with her legs. This posture was very weird. With her screams, everyone else was attracted over and happened to see this scene. Everyone was stunned with shock. Huaxian wanted to push Sophia away, but the soft feeling made him unable to do it. "What are you doing?" Agnes, who had left earlier, also came back. Seeing Sophia holding Huaxian like this in a weird posture was really unbearable to watch. "I thought to myself, I never realized the boss lady was this kind of person." Seeing so many people, Sophia reluctantly let go of Huaxian and returned to the ground, exclaiming, "It was a big bug. It was really big. It was right there just now." Everyone looked over, but there was no big bug there. "I don't believe it at all." Faced with such gazes from everyone, Sophia felt extremely shy. Huaxian said, "There is indeed a snake. It is normal for girls to be afraid of snakes. Don't make a fuss. Have you all rested well? Then let's continue on our journey." Just when everyone packed their luggage and prepared to set off, a voice came from a distance. "Hey, friends, are you here for adventure too? Let's form a team." The other party was a group of 3 men and 2 women, striding towards them. When they got closer and saw a group of beautiful women, the 3 men's eyes lit up. There is nothing more happier than exploring in the wild with a group of beautiful women accompanying you. The 2 women looked average, and one of them was probably older than Sophia. "Hello, my name is Ank." A young man introduced himself enthusiastically and extended his hand, looking very gentlemanly and polite. But no one paid any attention to him. Huaxian refused. "Sorry, we don't need to team up with others." After saying that, he turned around and left with his luggage. "Are you kidding? I'm here on my honeymoon. I'm with you guys. Those 2 girls are fine, but why are you bringing a guy with you? Are you trying to steal my girl? Hey, this is a primeval forest. One more person means more strength, and it will be safer if we encounter trouble. I am also an expert in wilderness survival. We also have biologists, doctors, etc. in our team. You won't be at a disadvantage." The guy shouted without giving up. However, no one paid any attention to them and everyone followed Huaxian. "Damn it, if you don't appreciate it, you'll suffer." The other 2 men laughed and said, "Enke, forget it. He is a man with a group of beauties, and they are all wearing tight clothes. You should be able to see what his purpose is. It is obvious that he is a rich young master." Obviously, the 2 women were their lovers, so they only admired Valia and the others and had no evil thoughts. "Nonsense, if I had a female companion, I wouldn't want to disturb them." "Oh, what a pity, they are all beauties. Why did they fall for a dragon countryman?" Huaxian and everyone else have already moved away from them. Magnetic. There are another big bug, Sophia screamed. And it can be seen that she is really afraid of big bugs. Everyone looked over. It was a python the size of a fist, probably 6 or 7 meters long. Upon seeing everyone, the python raised its head slightly and took a defensive posture. "I wonder how snake meat tastes," Huaxian suddenly said. Agnes said subconsciously, "It's delicious if you want to eat it." Catch him and I'll cook it for you. You can cook too? Huaxian asked in surprise. Agnes didn't have a good impression of Huaxian and didn't want to say much. So she just snorted angrily. Huaxian muttered, I was thinking of giving you a raise. Forget it. After saying that, he walked towards the python. Seeing this, Sophia said anxiously, Boss, stop it, it will bite you. Agnes said, Don't worry, this snake is not poisonous. And if it bites him, it will only hurt for a while. Huaxian walked over. The python was in an instinctive defensive state. Its body contracted and its muscles shrank into a ball. Once it stretched out, it would attack its prey as fast as lightning. Seeing Huaxian approaching the python with a swagger, Agnes said to Valia and the others, You'd better stop him. Otherwise, if he really bites the neck, it will be fatal. Stephen said, Don't worry, let alone a snake. Even if it's a dragon. Our husband is not afraid of it. When our husband takes action, no matter if it's a snake or some ferocious beast, it has to kneel down. Valia also said. In response, Agnes just shook her head and thought, I have reminded you that you are to confident if something goes wrong. You can't blame me. Whoosh! The giant python rushed towards Huaxian at an extremely fast speed. The next moment, Agnes, thinking she was going to be in trouble, was stunned. The dragon people, whom she looked down upon, actually grabbed the python's neck with one hand and the python's vital point with the other hand. She didn't know what they did, but the python lost its strength. Huaxian dragged the giant python back, threw it in front of Agnes and said, I leave it to you. Agnes finally reacted and looked at Huaxian in shock. She realized that she had underestimated this man. He didn't say much, just picked up the python and walked aside to deal with it. Huaxian smiled and pulled Emily, who was closest to him, and walked mysteriously towards a deserted place. Chapter 113. Poisonous Bee. Honey, what are you going to do? Emily asked shyly, her heart pounding. Sure, my husband is not doing anything. He just sees that you are tired from the journey, so he gives you a massage. Everyone stared at him in amazement, thinking, my husband is serious. Everyone stared at that place and soon the grass began to shake violently. Everyone was stunned. Why was my husband making such a big noise? It was a bit scary. Emily was extremely shy and held the mute tightly to prevent herself from screaming. Valia and the others really couldn't bear it anymore. So they ran away quickly, and only then did they feel better. Not long. Agnes came back after processing the snake meat and saw that no one was there. She saw a bush shaking constantly, so she approached it cautiously with a dagger in hand. He gently pulled aside the grass, afraid of disturbing anything. And when he saw the scene clearly, he was stunned. Doing such a thing in broad daylight is so shameless. Emily couldn't bear the force of the impact and screamed. Agnes was so scared that she thought she was discovered and ran away quickly. Huaxian, sensing all this, smiled slightly and thought, I will take you down sooner or later. It took 2 full hours before Huaxian came out carrying the exhausted Emily on his back. Seeing the two of them, Agnes's dark face turned red, and it wasn't clear whether it was because of shyness or the smoke from the flames of the roasting snake meat. But she looked particularly tempting. Everyone's eyes were focused on the two of them. Emily was extremely shy. She buried her head in Huaxian's neck and bit his neck hard. Honey, Emily, are you done? Stephen asked with a smile. Emily suddenly raised her head, glared at her fiercely and said, My husband said that you will be the next one. Huaxian also grinned and said, Then let's go with Stephen. Agnes on the side regretted very much that she had agreed to this tour guide's trip. Sophia felt a little disappointed. She wanted to be satisfied so much. Mainly because she fell in love with this dragon man. Soon, the snake meat was ready. Agnes gave each person a portion. Except Huaxian. Huaxian didn't say anything. He walked over, took a large piece and started eating. The smell of the vanilla, combined with the aroma of snake meat, can not only remove the fishy smell, but also enhance the flavor. It's really good. Honey, can you cook? Judy asked curiously. What are you talking about? What do you mean I can cook? I tell you, my cooking skills are unparalleled. No one in the world can cook as good as me, Huaxian said truthfully. Superb cooking skills, unmatched by anyone. DSK, Agnes said with disdain. Huaxian looked at her and asked, Why don't you believe it? Of course I don't believe it. Then what do you want me to believe? You will cook the next meal. Forget it, I'm afraid the food I cook will be so delicious that you'll all cling to me. Dream on, Agnes answered readily. Okay then, I'll cook the next meal and I promise to take care of brother infatuated. Agnes was silent. After dinner, everyone continued on their journey. Along the way, Huaxian took advantage of his atoys in various ways. His life was simply too perfect. Just one word to describe it. Awesome. Oh, this way, there's a huge beehive over there. And it's full of poisonous bees, Agnes reminded. A beehive? Doesn't it contain original and delicious honey? Huaxian said with his eyes lighting up. Stop dreaming, this is a hive of poisonous bees. If you get stung by a poisonous bee and don't get effective treatment, you will die, Agnes said seriously. Huaxian smiled and said, you are right, but you don't know that poisonous bees are an extremely delicious food in themselves, and they have a therapeutic effect on improving body functions. A honey of poisonous bees is also a treasure among treasures. We can't miss it, led the way. You? Agnes was so angry that she was speechless. Huaxian has already walked in that direction. Sophia comforted him. Don't be angry, Agnes, our boss is very capable, just look at how he catches snakes and you'll know it's not easy. If he dares to go, there will definitely be no problem. Madam, poisonous bees are different, there are tens of thousands of them. And any one of them is enough to kill you. Don't be afraid. Just watch from a distance, maybe the boss will get scared and leave. Sophia said as she pulled Agnes away. At this time, Huaxian also transferred the remaining 100 trillion of 500 trillion to Attilia. Ding! Congratulations to the host for completing the consumption of 500 trillion US dollars within 36 hours and receiving 3 primary strengthening pills as rewards. Ding! New mission. Complete consumption of 600 trillion US dollars within 36 hours. Failure of the mission will result in permanent disability of the limbs. Completion of the mission will reward 3 primary strengthening pills. This time there was no reward for completing the task beyond the limit. Huaxian thought about it, maybe he remembered the time wrongly. Did he complete the task ahead of time? Lulu. Such a sound came from the bushes not far away. That's the sound of a wild boar, everyone, be careful. The wild boars in the primeval forest are a quarter bigger than those in the outside world. They have a strong sense of territory and are aggressive. Lulu. As soon as Agnes finished her words, a huge wild boar with sharp teeth and fangs rushed out. Huaxian escaped into the wild with a pistol in his hand and fired a shot. Bang! With 100 accuracy, it blew off one of the wild boar's eyes. Roar! The wild boar roared angrily at the pain and rushed forward even more wildly. Bang! Huaxian fired another shot, and his other eye exploded. Suddenly he turned into a blind wild boar. Even so, the wild boar's tenacious vitality and death struggle were extremely ferocious. And it rushed over at a faster speed. Everybody get out of the way. Everyone got out of the way. Sophia also ran away in a panic. But as an ordinary person, she was already frightened. When she ran, she was so panicked that she stumbled and fell. Seeing this, Huaxian had no choice but to rush over, hug her plump waist and avoid her. Ding dong! With a loud bang, a big tree was cracked by the wild boar. The leaves were flying all over the sky. And the scene was shocking. Polly said, is this really a wild boar? It has such terrifying power. Ottilia said, the final blow of death is, of course, horrific. Huaxian let go of Sophia and walked towards the Yi clan. Sophia felt a little nostalgic and thought how nice it would be if she could always be hugged by her boss. Work hard, you must work hard. Sophia shouted in her heart that she was no longer timid because of her age. Because Huaxian did not despise her, which made her see the opportunity. And maybe it really could be done. The meat is of good quality. Huaxian said, taking out a dagger, cutting off some of the best lean meat, and packing it up to take away. Okay, let's continue on our way. Agnes's contemptuous look towards Huaxian finally disappeared. She deliberately slowed down and came to Sophia and said, Boss lady, what kind of person is your boss? Chapter 114. Man-eating ants. Rich, mysterious, powerful, anyway, I like it. Sophia said subconsciously. Agnes smiled bitterly and said, if you like him, just pursue him, he has so many women around him anyway. So it will be no problem to have one more. But, don't you know anything else about him? No, he is a dragon. I became his employee when he was making large-scale acquisitions a while ago. I know very little about him, Sophia said, distressed. Lie. It's okay, it will be resolved if we go down this road. Agnes came to the front and said to Huaxian, if we walk for another 2 hours, we will enter the territory of poisonous bees. Although they also collect honey, they are also carnivorous animals, so if they encounter humans, they will most likely take the initiative to attack. Huaxian nodded and said, I know that, but unless you go to their lair, they won't attack in groups. The threat of a single one is not great. So don't put too much pressure on yourself. Seeing Huaxian's relaxed expression, Agnes didn't say anything else. Huaxian uttered a cry of surprise and stopped. Huaxian asked curiously, husband, what's wrong? Huaxian sniffed and said, if I'm not mistaken, Huaxian has a plate of Binaterum lucidum. And he walked in one direction. Seeing that he was smelling it, everyone sniffed curiously, but they found nothing else except the fragrance of each other. But they did not doubt Huaxian and followed behind patiently. Soon, Huaxian saw the target, which was in the middle of a huge tree, about 30 meters away from the ground. Did you see that? There are so many Ganotarum lucidum as big as basins. I see. Husband, how did you find the Ganotarum lucidum so far away and so high on the tree? Stephen asked in surprise. You can smell the Ganotarum lucidum with your nose. Of course, only a cooking god like me can detect the presence of Ganotarum lucidum through that barely perceptible fragrance. DSK. Agnes said distaphonially again. Huaxian didn't care. He found a vine, wrapped it around the big tree that the people were holding, grabbed one end with one hand, stepped hard on the trunk with both feet, and walked up. If he wasn't afraid of flying up and scaring everyone, he could fly easily with his for attributes of more than 40 million. Soon they arrived at the location where the Ganotarum was. Huaxian made another discovery and shouted, "You go first. There is a nest of man-eating ants under this thing. If I take away the Ling Zhi, the man-eating ants will chase after me." Sophia said, "They are just ants. Show, can they run as fast as us?" Agnes replied with a pale face, "This is not an ordinary man-eating ant. It is very fast, although it cannot catch up with humans in a short time. It has strong endurance and a keen sense of smell. It can lock onto its prey through smell. Once it is targeted, it will fight to the death. Let's go now." Everyone left without hesitation. When no one could see it anymore, Huaxian suddenly broke off the Ganotarum lucidum, and immediately a swarm of huge man-eating ants swarmed out. Huaxian jumped down directly. Unexpectedly, these man-eating ants also jumped down and were able to glide in the air. Huaxian just wants to say, "Awesome, you are the most powerful fighting ants." Soon Huaxian started to kiss everyone, and Sophia was exhausted and out of breath. Huaxian pulled her onto his back and said to the others, "Run. These man-eating ants have a pretty high IQ. It must be because they eat our spiritual intelligence. They are chasing us." Everyone could only follow Huaxian and pump as much as they could. After running for almost half an hour, Agnes said, "I can't run anymore." He just collapsed to the ground. Valia said, "I was you." Huaxian thought to himself, "I want to recite it too." Agnes refused. "Forget it, you guys should be tired too. I'll rest for a while before running again." Huaxian said. "Huaxian, they are coming." Everyone looked back and saw densely packed black spots the size of peas moving quickly. "What a fast speed," Polly said in shock. Huaxian said, "This spiritual wisdom is at least 100 years old. By consuming its aura all year round, it can also strengthen the body. Valia, carry Agnes on your back, and let's run away." "No, I can do it myself." Agnes Rejector wanted to stand up, but it was too difficult. Valia could only force herself to be slaughtered on her back. Without the burden, the speed suddenly increased. Agnes only had time to feel everyone's speed at this time, and was extremely shocked. According to preliminary estimates, their running speed was no less than 60 kilometers per hour. It's amazing that the Dragon Man from T-Bessie and Valia who was carrying him could run so fast with people on their backs and they didn't look very tired. Buzz buzz buzz. Suddenly, there was a dense buzzing sound ahead. "Oh no, it's a swarm of poisonous bees. It must be the large number of man-eating ants that alarmed them." Agnes was extremely shocked and then very panicked. Because of the arrival of the swarm of poisonous bees, they were the first to encounter them, and they were doomed this time. "Everyone, lie down on the ground and don't move. Poisonous bees don't like dead things, and their vision is only sharp to moving things." After Huaxian finished speaking, he and Sophia lay on the ground. "Ask others to believe in him unconditionally." Sophia looked at Huaxian, who was so close to her, with affection in her eyes. The next moment, everyone saw a dense swarm of poisonous bees the size of ping-pong balls flying over their heads without stopping. Agnes heaved a sigh of relief upon seeing this, but was extremely surprised in her heart, for she discovered that this dragon countryman knew Wu Feng too well. When a large number of poisonous bees flew over, Huaxian sat up, and everyone else sat up as well. Looking into the distance, poisonous bees began to attack the man-eating ants frantically. The two races seem to be enemies, and they become jealous of each other when they meet, and they fight to the death. What shocked everyone even more was that in order to gain an advantage against the poisonous bees, the man-eating ants actually stacked themselves up in a large chain. When the poisonous bees attacked, there would always be one or two ants that could land on them and start biting them crazily. The number of ants is huge, but the poisonous bees have the air advantage. So this battle is fierce and will not stop in a short time. "Let's go, everyone, be careful and don't make too much noise." Huaxian said this, picked up Sophia and left in a half-squatting position. Everyone followed carefully. It took a full quarter of an hour before everyone breathed a sigh of relief and finally got out of danger. Whether it was the man-eating ants or the poisonous bees, the pressure they exerted on them was too terrifying. It should be said that humans appear weak in front of these objects. No wonder the United States has left its virgin forests unattended. At this time Huaxian saw the beehive on the cliff bridge in the distance. The beehive was only about to people tall and very huge. It hung under the cliff, sheltering from wind and rain. It was really a good place. Agnes saw Huxin's gaze and said worriedly, "Boss, let's not provoke the poisonous bees." Chapter 115. Honey. Huxin said, "It's okay, let everyone to a safe place. The farther the better. I'll go get some honey for everyone to have as a sweet treat tonight." And he handed Sophia to Polly. "Carry her on your back. Be obedient, and don't worry about me." Polly said, "I'm not worried about you. Come on, husband, make more, I like honey." "Okay, now that we have a chance, let's rob him of everything. Hurry up and leave, don't hold me back. Everyone, please leave quickly." Agnes also left angrily, thinking that she was too greedy and that something bad would happen sooner or later. As they walked away, Agnes couldn't help but ask, "Why aren't you worried about your men at all?" Valia said, "Because we men are cultivators, immortals." Agnes rolled her eyes and said, "I don't believe there are any gods in the world. If you tell me that he is a practitioner of ancient martial arts, I can barely accept it." "Why do you accept ancient martial arts practitioners but don't believe in immortals?" Stephen asked curiously. "Because I almost died in the primeval forest. And it was an ancient martial arts practitioner who saved me. When I asked him, he said it was an ancient martial arts practitioner." When talking about this ancient martial arts practitioner, Agnes' eyes were full of stars. Then she said regretfully, "It's a pity that I may never meet him again, otherwise I would definitely marry him." "Who knows, we are in the primeval forest again, we might meet him," Sophia comforted. "Maybe." Agnes didn't hold out much hope. The other side. Without outsiders around, Huxin took off directly into the air and flew towards the huge beehive. After getting closer, Huxin realized that he had made a mistake. The beehive was actually in a cave below the cliff. "I didn't encounter any poisonous bees, so I guess they were all fighting the man-eating ants." It just avoided unnecessary trouble and rushed into the hive as quickly as possible. System, is there any system space to store items? Ding! Spend 1 million enhancement points to enhance a system space of 10 cubic meters. 10 cubic meters of honey is almost enough, so Huxin is not careless. Soon they arrived at the innermost part of the hive. Sure enough, there was only one huge queen bee here. This crazy creature, as big as a puppy, looked at Huxin with strong hostility. Huxin knew that he couldn't communicate with words. So he didn't bully the queen bee, he communicated with her mentally. "I'll give you some 100 years of wisdom, and you give me some honey." "Okay." Unexpectedly, the poisonous bee queen agreed readily. How could Huxin know that the poisonous queen bee was a century-old Ganotarum lucidum of the man-eating ants? And this was the beginning of the hatred between the two races. Huxin broke off 1/5 and threw it to the poisonous queen bee. The poisonous bee queen leapt up and caught Ling Zhi. Looking very excited, he communicated with Huxin mentally. "Follow me." He did not break his promise and took Huxin to the place where the honey was stored. Seeing where the honey was, Huxin exclaimed, "Nectar honey." I thought to myself, no wonder this poisonous queen bee has become a spirit. I didn't expect it was because she ate honey. You also know about honey? This is just one chance, take as much as you can, the poisonous bee queen said generously. In that case I won't be polite. System, give me 5 million system space enhancements. Ding, congratulations to the host, the 50 cubic meters of system space has been successfully enhanced. Consuming 5 million enhancement points. And Huxin rushed to the innermost nectar honey. Because the longer the year in the moon, the better the effect. It's a full 100 meters long and is filled with sweet honey. Even in a space of 50 cubic meters, less than 1/10 of it can be taken away. It can be seen how many years these poisonous bees have built nests here and accumulated honey. Huxin was overjoyed and took things away frantically. The poisonous queen bee following behind him couldn't see his expression. Otherwise she would have been shocked. After a while, a large area of honey storage was vacated. How did you do it? Are you a god? The poisonous bee queen asked with her mental power. Huxin smiled slightly. You guessed it right, I really am a god. The transaction is completed, I will leave first. It burst out at full speed and disappeared into the hive in an instant. The poisonous bee queen was completely stunned, he had no perception. As if this human had disappeared out of thin air. If the honey that disappeared before his eyes and the Ganotarum lucidum that he was holding were not real, he would have suspected that the human had never appeared. How terrifying, it must be a god. Huxin caught up with everyone in a good mood. In order to avoid everyone's suspicion, some of the honey had been taken out and thrown into the water, leaving only a palm-sized piece of Ganotarum lucidum. Honey, come back, how do you feel? Polly asked. I feel very helpful. I will treat everyone to nutritious and delicious wild boar meat with honey and Ganotarum lucidum in a moment. Let's find a safe place, I'm going to show off my cooking skills. And everyone chose a small stream with water for washing. Honey, you cook, I'm going to take a shower. I'm going to take a shower too. I'm going to. As a result, everyone ran away. Sophia didn't want to go. She just wanted to stay with Hu Xian and create opportunities while there was no one else around. But she was dragged along by everyone. Agnes naturally didn't escape. How could Hu Xian have the mood to prepare ingredients? This is a good opportunity. After waiting for about 10 minutes, I approached everyone cautiously and saw a beautiful woman playing in the stream, which was only deep enough to reach her waist. The flawless and seductive figure is dazzling and makes people's nose bleed. It is worth noting that Agnes' figure is also very good. Only Sophia is a little fat, but it does not affect her appearance. Moreover, the beauty of a mature woman is something that Valio and the others do not have. And it is also a different kind of scenery. This, Stephen said. Do you think my husband will peek at us? Valia said. That shouldn't be the case. Who of our husbands hasn't seen it? Sister Agnes and Sister Sophia, said Polly. Don't worry about it. Just speak. Sister Sophia and Sister Agnes will be captured by their husbands sooner or later anyway. Xian said. Hearing this, Hu Xian's mouth curled up and he thought. The one who knows me best is my wife Ina. Agnes's reaction was very strong. Dream on. Even if I stay single for my whole life, I will never marry a dragon. After saying that, he seemed to be really worried that Hu Xian would peek. So he went ashore. Sophia was very happy. I thought. Since my extended family has accepted me, I don't have to worry about my boss not accepting me. Seeing Agnes walking towards the camp, Hu Xian quickly retreated. Went back to quickly make a fire and start barbecue in one go. Seeing Agnes coming over, he deliberately asked curiously. Agnes, didn't you take a shower with everyone? Why are you back so soon? Chapter 116, The Power of the Divine Chef. Agnes was a little surprised and asked. How can you cook? Yes, all men in Long Guo can cook. Don't you know that? In our Long Guo, men cook and women enjoy life. TSK, I'll just listen to you. After about 20 minutes, everyone came back. Hu Xian also began to add the most important ingredients. Honey and Ganadarum lucidum powder. But the addition of these to top-quality ingredients, the wild boar meat, which originally had a restrained aroma, suddenly exudes an extremely tempting fragrance. It smells so good. So good, I've never smelled anything so good before. Valia said in shock. Me too, it smells so good, honey. I want to eat it. Stephen's mouth was watering. Others are not much better. Agnes was stunned. He thought it was good enough that Hu Xian could cook. But he didn't expect that not only was he not bragging, but his cooking skills were simply amazing. Hu Xian thought. Even without the honey and Ganadarum powder, the food I made would still be god level. Now that we have these two treasures, they are absolutely super god level foods. About 10 minutes later, everyone's saliva was all over the floor. If Hu Xian hadn't been there, they would have eaten the food first to maintain their image, regardless of whether it was cooked or not. Okay, everyone come and get your share. Hu Xian took his portion and then shouted. There are 11 servings per person, with 3 pounds of meat in each serving, which is enough for you to eat as much as you want. Wow! Finally, I can eat. Everyone screamed and rushed over. Pick up one and devour it. Oh my god, it's so delicious. After eating it, I feel warm all over and all my fatigue is gone. I've only experienced this feeling when I was practicing dual cultivation with my husband. It's so comfortable. This is the most delicious food I have ever eaten. Everyone was full of praise. Agnes was stunned. She stared at Hu Xian for a while and said, This food seems to improve physical strength. Hu Xian smiled and said, 100-year-old Ganadarum lucidum plus 100-year-old honey. Which is honey from poisonous bees. Do you think it can strengthen the body? After hearing this explanation, Agnes understood. Seeing Hu Xian's eyes change, she seemed to finally understand why these women did not dislike each other and followed this man in harmony. Not to mention anything else, just this cooking skill can make many women stop worrying about many things. Oh, and he got this honey from a poisonous bee nest. That's the top of the cliff. How did you do that? Not to mention those poisonous bees. The poisonous bee queen is even more powerful. How did he avoid getting the honey? The more I thought about it, the more shocked I became. Everyone ate so much. Normally, if I ate this much meat in one meal, it would take at least an hour, but this time I finished it in just a few minutes. They all looked like they were not full. Hu Xian said. No way, 3 pounds of meat per person, you tell me you're not full? Ollie said, not full, just half full. I guess it's because I was too tired from traveling so hard today. Otilia said, me too, I'm not full at all. I still want to eat. Everyone expressed their opinions one after another. Hu Xian said speechless lie, well, I'll make some, and sleep with you bunch of foodie wives. Sophia in the crowd was overjoyed to hear this. Doesn't this group include her? Agnes didn't say anything, but she still wanted to eat a little more. This time, Huaxian directly prepared 5 kilograms of food for each person, thinking that if they couldn't finish it, they could just pack it up and take it away. During the process, there was no fragrance in the early stages, and everyone watched patiently, wanting to see how Huaxian made it so delicious. I didn't believe that good honey and wisdom alone could make it taste so delicious. All I saw was Huaxian constantly flipping the grilled meat. Because there were a lot of them, his movements were ordinary and it looked so timid. Only then did I realize that the food that I thought was delicious was actually so difficult to make. I couldn't help but feel grateful to Huaxian. "Honey, let me help you," said Valia. "That's right, husband. Let's help." Others also expressed their opinions. "Forget it. The heat is very important for grilling me. The taste will be very different if you grill it for 1 second longer or 1 second less. You can just wait and eat the red-made food. By the way, honey, why doesn't the delicious smell of meat attract any wild animals?" Polly asked the question in her mind. "Just look around and you will see the special strong-smelling herbs I have. Without them the beasts would have come long ago." Upon hearing this, everyone looked around curiously, and when they got closer, they smelled a pungent and foul smell. I resisted the urge to vomit and walked in, only to find that there were indeed the herbs that Huaxian had mentioned. Everyone suddenly realized the truth and came back to admire Huaxian very much. Agnes couldn't help but ask, "I see you have so much experience in surviving accidents. You don't even need a guide, right?" After saying this, Agnes panicked. "He doesn't need a guide, but what is he doing on his feet? Could it be that he is attracted by my beauty? It's just that he seems to be really good. Apart from his file-entering nature, I don't think I've discovered any other shortcomings of his." Huaxian said, "A tour guide is like a map, not a bodyguard. As long as you can find the destination, it's fine. Besides, my wives all want a tour guide. If you weren't a girl, I would definitely not agree." Hearing the last sentence, Agnes muttered in her heart, "Sure enough, this guy is coming for my body." Huaxian continued, "After all, this affects my emotional communication with my wives. Who wants to interfere with your emotional exchange? If you don't welcome me, I'll just leave," Agnes said, and stood up to leave. But subconsciously, I thought of the scene of Huaxian and Emily having sex in the wild. "Why are you leaving? I'm worried about you, a girl. Mainly Sophia will blame me for driving you away," Huaxian said. You were the one who asked me to stay on T. Accuse me of disturbing your relationship in the future." Huaxian chuckled. Yes, I couldn't bear to let you go. So I tried to keep you. After all, you are also a little beauty. I admit that I like you." Agnes was stunned. "Come on. The barbecue is ready, everyone. Wow, I want some barbecue." Before Huaxian finished speaking, everyone rushed over. "Agnes, don't you want to eat anymore?" Huaxian handed her a piece of rice. "Eat." He handed another piece to Sophia. "I ate some myself too." "Honey, what are we having for next meal?" Polly was already thinking about the next meal while still eating. Everyone couldn't help but look at Huaxian, and all of a sudden, they all turned into foodies. Huaxian smiled bitterly. He was afraid that he couldn't get rid of the identity of a chef. "It depends on the opportunity. I'll eat whatever I come across." Chapter 117, Python Trainer. The next day, Huaxian continued on his journey with 10 beauties. Along the way, they all looked around furtively and prepared ingredients for lunch. There is no way. Ever since I knew about Huaxian's cooking skills, I can't stop. "Husband, this time you have completely grasped my weakness and made me completely dependent on you. You must be responsible to the end," Emily said. Okay, I will be responsible for all of you to the end." Sophia was very excited when she heard this. Doesn't everyone include her? Being in her early 40s, she was really worried about being disliked. "I can only try my best to show my best side in front of Huaxian." Agnes led the way. He came to Huaxian and said, "There is a mysterious pool of water ahead. According to my experience, there is a giant python in it. It should taste very good." If it was yesterday, Agnes would definitely take everyone on a detour. Since I had the delicious meal, I have been looking forward to it. So now let's ask Huaxian and see if he has any ideas. "Sure, the python is so big, there shouldn't be any problem in eating some of its meat. Right?" Huaxian said with a smile. "Anyway, I'll leave the task of dealing with the python to you." Naturally, the others were fearless and trusted Huaxian unconditionally. "Hey, don't go over there. There's a giant python over there that will eat people," someone shouted at them. Everyone looked back and saw that they were actually 4 girls who looked like college students, and walked towards them. Value and the others immediately became alert. Now they are united in front, and when they see beautiful girls approaching Huaxian, they become subconsciously worried. The 4 girls were carrying backpacks and wearing tights. This kind of clothing was designed for jungle exploration. There was no need to worry about being hung upside down by branches or something. And the body was minimally obstructed in the jungle environment. Huaxian looked at them curiously, although they looked ordinary. They had good figures. Hello, my name is Corona, this is Paula, Catherine, and Kelly. We are from the same university, and we are going to explore the primeval forest as a team. What about you? We're a family gathering, Steven said. A family gathering? Kelly muttered in great surprise. Yes, a family gathering. We are all the wives of this dragon man. Dahlia said. Upon hearing this, the four of them looked at Huaxian with great curiosity. I wondered what was so special about this dragon countryman that 10 beautiful women claimed to be his wives. It looks so ordinary no matter how you look at it. Catherine said, since this is a family gathering, we are sorry to bother you. They originally wanted to form a team to explore together. But now they have no interest. After all, when a family of 1 man and 10 women gather together, everyone knows what they are going to do. Paula kindly reminded them. I've been here before. There, as a pond over there with a huge python in it. So you better take a detour. After saying that, the 4 of them left. Huaxian looked at their backs as they walked away, and began to daydream. He suddenly discovered that his immunity to women seemed to be getting worse and worse, which was not a good sign. Honey, do you have any new ideas? It's still not too late to call them over now, Xiana said with a smile. What are you talking about? I am content with you. Let's get going. Everyone continued on their way. Around this hour, the surroundings, which had originally been filled with the sounds of insects, ants, birds and animals, suddenly became quiet. Agnes said, we are close to the pool. It is so quiet, I think the python has appeared. Everyone became cautious, led by Huaxian. Huaxian was casual about it. Of his 4 attributes worth over 10 million, he would not take any giant python seriously unless it was a dragon. Soon, we saw the pool of water, which was about 20 meters in diameter and located under a cliff. Hello? A scream was heard from above the cliff. Everyone looked up curiously and found that it was the 4 girls from before. They appeared on the top of the cliff and looked down. It's about 500 meters high, so people look so small. Kelly said angrily, are these people crazy? We told them where the python was, but they still dared to approach it. Maybe they just went there for the thrill. For the giant python, said Catherine. Let's just watch from here and see the wilderness escape after the giant python appears. What I'm worried about is whether the giant python will also target us. No, the python relies mainly on its sense of smell. It can't smell us from such a distance. Hey, beauties? Are you guys going bungee jumping? Huaxian asked loudly. Is this dragon countryman stupid? He actually asked us if we want to bungee jump? Do we dare to bungee jump from such a high place? At this time, Huaxian and the others arrived at the edge of the pool. Of course, only Huaxian was very close to the pool of water, while the others were standing far away, watching nervously. Huaxian squatted beside the pool, scooped up some water and took a sip. Natural mineral water, delicious. At this time, everyone above and below was staring at the pool nervously. Paula and the others on the top of the cliff were watching with binoculars. Look, there are ripples in the water. The giant python is about to appear. Emily screamed, honey, the python is about to appear. Be careful. The others also became nervous. The ripples in the pool became stronger and stronger, and people became more and more nervous. The next moment, crash! The head of a gigantic python burst out of the water, splashing water to a height of 7 or 8 meters. Most of the giant python's body was still in the pool, and its huge head was staring at Huaxian, who was nearby. As if provoked, he bit down hard. Dead. The 4 people on the cliff couldn't bear to close their eyes when they saw this. With such a huge python attacking, few of the people below would be able to escape. Ubby, get out of the way, Jui shouted. The others also clenched their fists because the python was so scary. Huaxian himself was very calm. He easily moved sideways to steps to avoid the attack of the giant python. Ding dong! The python didn't expect to miss, and its head hit the ground heavily. The 4 people on the cliff opened their eyes and were stunned by the scene before them. That dragon countryman is actually okay. Roar! The giant python let out a strange cry and rushed towards Huaxian again. For ordinary people, it is lightning fast. However, Huaxian took 2 steps sideways again and dodged it easily. Click! The giant python hit its head and directly broke a big tree. Seemingly irritated, the huge tail heavily abstract Huaxian. It's really frightening to watch. This dragon country guy seems like a python trainer. How could such a huge python not hurt him at all? It should be a python trainer. Otherwise it would be hard to explain. Look, there's movement in the pond. Chapter 118, Secret of Genelock. In the pond, another giant python also emerged. Everyone was shocked. They never expected that there were 2 giant pythons in the pond. Two giant pythons, one on the left and one on the right, bit towards Huaxian. Huaxian still easily avoided the surroundings. Just because the gap is so big, the python is just a bigger snake in his eyes. Roar! Roar! After failing to take him down repeatedly, the two giant pythons roared in anger. At this time, a giant python rushed towards Valia and the others. Huaxian finally moved. As fast as lightning, he grabbed a giant python's tail. What is he going to do? Paula screamed when she saw this scene. Crazy, so crazy. As they watched, Huaxian grabbed the python's tail and swung the huge and slender python up like a whip. Boom! It hit hard on the giant python that was rushing towards Steven and the others. Roar! A huge impact caused the giant python to scream in pain. A giant python in Huaxian's hand was angry and in pain, and struggled hard. Dang! But it was useless, and Huaxian hit his companion hard again. Boom! It hit the cliff wall heavily again. Catherine and the others on top of the cliff felt that the cliff was shaking and was about to collapse in half. Shocked and stunned. I finally understand why they were not afraid even though they knew there was a giant python. Is this dragon countryman still a human being? It was so shocking that he used such a huge python to play with it like a whip. After a few hits, the two giant pythons were knocked limp to the ground by Huaxian, and they had no strength to move. Huaxian walked to the head of the largest python and said, "Cut some meat for lunch today. Is there anything you think about that?" He just said it was over without even considering the python's opinion. He took out his knife as a god-level chef. He naturally knew that the meat in that part of the python was the most delicious. So he started eating right away. Roar! A large piece of flesh was cut off, and the giant python screamed in pain. But there is no way. Let's go today. Lunch is taken care of. Huaxian swaggered away carrying at least 50 kilograms of python meat. Delia and the others followed behind, and even though they knew Huaxian was very powerful, they were still terrified. The four people on the cliff watched them go away, and it took them a long time to come back to their senses. Who are they? It seems like they are approaching the python just to get food. Corona said. What should we do? Should we go over and take a look? Let's take a look, maybe we can even get a meal of snake meat. What I'm worried about is, will they regard us as enemies? Hearing this, the four of them fell silent. After a while, Allah said, I don't think so. When we left earlier, that guy was staring at our backs. I think he is interested in us. Everyone knows that he is interested in us. So do we still have to show ourselves to him? But the scene where he fought against the giant python was so cool. Do you know how strong a body must be to be able to wield such a huge python? Yes, he is so strong that I actually like him a little. Why don't we follow him and have a look? We are here for adventure anyway. If we follow him, we can go too many places we dare not go to. Only then will the adventure be meaningful. I think Kelly's opinion is good. Then hurry up and catch up with them. After discussing it, the four of them quickly took a detour and chased after Huaxian and the others. Honey, this snake meat looks delicious. Steven, who had completely become a foodie, asked expectantly. This is the most delicious meat from the python. With my cooking skills it must be delicious. Don't worry. I'll find a place to cook it for you. Agnes walked up to Huaxian and asked in surprise. Are you a practitioner of ancient martial arts? Huaxian glanced at her and asked. Why do you ask? Because apart from ancient martial arts practitioners, no one else can be so powerful. Where are the Gene warriors? Huaxian asked. Agnes was shocked. Do the genetic warriors in science fiction really exist? Before Huaxian could speak, Otilia said, Gene warriors really exist. We in the United States have been researching them. However, the most powerful Gene warriors have only unlocked the second stage of the Gene Lock, and they are at the most basic stage of the second stage. Even so, a genetic warrior who has unlocked the primary second stage is still terribly powerful. Ordinary ancient martial arts practitioners are no match for him at all. There really are genetic warriors. Valia and the others were shocked. Otilia said, according to the research of relevant scientists, the Earth is a multidimensional world, which means there are many balanced worlds, and our world is at the bottom of these countless balanced worlds. And what we know, that some people have come into contact with, the genetic warriors, ancient martial arts practitioners, and even immortal cultivators, all come from those who balance the world. Huaxian couldn't help but ask, do you know how many levels of genetic warriors there are? Otilia said, based on my exposure and understanding, scientists have divided genetic warriors into countless levels, because the highest attribute of ordinary people is 10. So the Gene Lock. Stage 1, 11,100. The second stage is 101, 1,000. The third stage is 10,01, 10,000. The fourth stage is 10,001, 100,000. The fifth stage is 110,000, 1 million. The sixth stage is 1.1 million to 10 million. The 7th stage is 10. 1 million to 100 million. The 8th stage is 110 million to 1 billion. The 9th stage is 1.1 billion to 10 billion. The 10th stage is 10.1 billion 100 billion. The 11th stage is 100.1 billion to 1 trillion. The 12th stage is 1,000. 1 billion to 10 trillion. It's not clear what happens further down. In other words, there is a balanced space world, and their main source of power is awakening genes? Polly asked. Yes, scientists have discovered a portal leading to that world. To be more precise, it is a portal left by people from that world who came to our world. However, our current abilities cannot pass through the portal storm. According to scientists' predictions, one must at least reach the 7th stage of G-Lock opening and possess more than 10 million attributes in order to pass through that portal. Hearing this, Huaxian's eyes lit up. Dozen he now possess attributes worth tens of millions. Maybe if I have a chance, I can go there and have a look. Honey, what stage of G-Lock are you in now? Nitty asked. Everyone looked at Huaxian curiously, wanting to know. Huaxian smiled and said, just barely the 7th stage. Everyone was shocked. Otilia has already said that the most powerful one open now is only in the early stage of the 2nd stage. That's 10 times more power than an ordinary person. However, Huaxian told them that in the 7th stage, the attribute difference was 10 million times. Hubby, you didn't come from the balanced world that Otilia mentioned, did you? Chapter 119, Don't force it. Huaxian said calmly. Don't be shocked by how powerful my attribute strength is. Have you forgotten about the dual cultivation with me? Every one of you now, except Nydia, Agnes, and Sophia, has an attribute of more than 10,000? In other words, your current combat power is equivalent to the 4th stage of the G-Lock. Are we so powerful? Why don't we feel anything? Stephen asked in shock. Otilia smiled bitterly and said, I don't feel it either. But if you think about it carefully, my husband is right. Our power level is almost at the primary state of the 10th stage of the G-Lock. Hearing this, Nydia was envious. It's not fair, we are all following our husbands. Why are you all so powerful? Judy said, this is easy. My husband's dual cultivation technique can improve our 4 attributes. You just need to. Husband, I want to practice dual cultivation. Nydia immediately pestered Huaxian. Sophia was extremely envious when she saw this scene. Agnes asked, you all say you are in the 4th stage of G-Lock? Can you prove it? Let me give it a try. Xiayine excitedly walked to a tree the size of a bowl, burst out with all her strength, and punched the tree. Everyone was watching with fear, because if they didn't have enough strength, the fist would probably be broken if it hit the hard tree. Boom! There was a loud bang and the trees shook violently. This kind of movement is simply not something that ordinary people can do. Click! At this time, the tree attacked by Xiayine broke into crack appeared, and the crack was gradually enlarging. Boom! The tree, which was as thick as a bowl, fell down just like that. Everyone was stunned. Sophia and the others were the most shocked. Let me try. Valia couldn't wait. Let me try it too. Stephen did the same. Have they never thought that they are so powerful? Boom! Boom! Emily and the others were not idle. They all went to destroy the trees. In an instant, several trees shook violently and leaves flew all over the sky. The sound of cracking kept being heard. These big trees couldn't withstand their punches and broke into pieces. Even if a larger tree does not break after one punch, it will not be able to withstand a second punch. Oh my god! Am I so powerful? Stephen was stunned in shock. I didn't expect that I'm so powerful. I feel like even Tyson can't withstand a punch from me. Thealia was also extremely shocked. Husband, have you known for a long time that we are so powerful? They asked Huaxian one by one. Huaxian laughed and said, I thought you all knew how powerful you were, but... Otilia said, Hubby, when we were practicing dual cultivation, we both felt that we had changed a lot. But because our attributes suddenly became stronger. Or maybe it was because of the powerful dual cultivation technique you mentioned. Our genes were very stable after the upgrade, so we still thought we were ordinary people. That's what it should be, agreed Polly. It turns out we are so powerful. Now I feel that I can easily crush the giant python. Xiayine said excitedly. I also think that I can beat the giant python now. Stephen was also full of confidence. Nydia and Sophia were extremely envious. Hubby, I don't care. I want to practice dual cultivation. I want to beat the giant python. I also want to become a genetic warrior. Nydia shook Huaxian's arm and said Kokithus lie. Okay, I promise you that I will satisfy all your requests when we rest tonight. Oh, I want it tonight, but I can't wait any longer. I want it now, husband. Nydia execute and Kokithus in various ways. In that case, let's find a place to rest. I'll make lunch for everyone after I'm done with my work. Yeah, thanks hubby. Nidier pushed the snake flesh off Huexin's shoulder and dragged him into the bushes. Value and the others were stunned. Sophia also wanted to go over. But she was worried about causing Huexin's disgust. So she could only envy him. There was also a strange light in Agnes' eyes. She looked at Otilia and asked, besides practicing dual cultivation with the boss, are there other ways to gain genetic power? Otilia saw through Agnes's thoughts at a glance and said, yes, the genetic medicine developed in the United States can do it. But it is very unstable and is still in the experimental stage. It is impossible to make it popular among the whole population, at least in the short term. In other words, even if it can be popularized to the whole population, the rich will have priority because the cost of making genetic drugs is too huge and ordinary people simply cannot afford it. Furthermore, if genes become stronger, the human body's lifespan will increase. And the transition from youth to aging will be delayed. The benefits are endless, of course. It must be a mature genetic drug to work. Immature genetic drugs can even turn people into zombies like those in biochemical movies. For now, only by practicing dual cultivation with my husband can the awakened genes be both strong and stable. Moreover, we have been following my husband for so long. And there are no side effects. Agnes said bitterly. You mean, I have to practice dual cultivation with him too? But I don't like men who have countless women around them. And I don't like men from Dragon Country either. We like what you said. But my husband is so outstanding even if you don't want to. There will always be someone who is willing. Moreover, although my husband is a dragon, he is really good to us. He will never give good things on credit to his own people. Emily said. I have no problem with my husband. I love him very much. No matter how many women are around him, I will always love him. Valio expressed sincerely. Me too. I have only love for my husband. No complaints or disgust. It doesn't matter how many women are around him in the future. As long as he loves me, even if it's only 1% of his love, I'll be fine. Stephen followed suit. Polly said, although I don't like his philandering, I have to admit that he is the best man I have ever met. Bar none. If I leave him, I'm afraid I will never meet such a good man again. Besides, in the United States, we have free love, and there is nothing that forbids men from marrying multiple wives. In history, every powerful figure in Long Country had many wives and concubines. It is said that the emperor even had 3,000 concubines in his harem. Our husband is so outstanding, he must be more powerful than the emperor. I think his harem is still too small, Xia said. I thought, as long as my husband loves me, who cares how many women are around him? Agnes was silent. After a while, she said, from what you said, it seems that you support me and your husband to practice dual cultivation. We never said that. It's your own choice. Besides, our husband doesn't force people if you don't want to. He will never force you. Chapter 120, Tigress. 2 hours later. Nidier came back with Huexin's arm around her, looking very happy. Everyone felt that she was different. Nidier, show it to us. Shayna said. Yes, let's see how it works. Nidier didn't hesitate. She walked up to a tree and punched it with all her strength. There was a loud bang, the tree shook violently, and then broke with a snap. When Sophia saw this scene, she was extremely envious. She looked at Huexin with great expectation, but was afraid of being rejected and despised. Agnes looked at Huexin, struggling violently in her heart. Okay, let's go to a better place and I'll cook for everyone. Huexin left carrying the snake meat. When they arrived at a small ditch, Huexin started cooking while the others went to pick crabs. Everything is so beautiful. Hello, we meet again, Corona's voice came. Everyone looked over and saw Paul and the other 3 jogging over. They were all sweating profusely and it was obvious that they had been traveling for a long time. What are you doing? Value asked warily. Atharin said, we are all here for adventure. Why don't we form a team? We are goddesses, and it's quite dangerous. Please don't reject us. Catherine said the last words while looking at Huexin. Huexin said calmly, you can stay if you want, but we don't want the freeloaders. Let's go find some firewood. Okay, let's go find firewood. Kelly left excitedly. They were very happy to be taken in. Soon, the aroma of snake meat spread. Wow, it smells so good. I've never smelled such delicious food in my life, Paula said with her saliva dripping. Honey, we caught a lot of crabs and gave them to you. Stephen said as he handed over a large bag of crabs. Let's save the crabs for dinner there. It's enough snake meat for lunch, said Huexin. It's not enough. It should be enough. But there are 4 of them, said Emily. The 4 of them suddenly became nervous and they all sensed that everyone was hostile towards them. Okay, I'll cook all the crabs later. You are such a foodie. Yeah, thank you, hubby. Your cooking is the most delicious. Soon, the snake meat was ready and Huexin distributed it to 14 people. Paula took a bite and said, "Wow, it's really delicious. It's the most delicious food I have ever eaten. It's delicious." Catherine and the others were also extremely shocked. Looking at Stephen and the others, I suddenly understood why so many beautiful girls were willing to follow this dragon man. He is powerful, cooks delicious food, and gives a strong sense of security. He is simply the perfect man in my ideal. What should I do? I found that I fell in love with this man from Dragon Country. Ellie said, infatuated lie. Corona said, "Are you in love with him too?" I think so too. I feel like I'm sinking. Threats are too dangerous. Otherwise. What else? Paula, don't leave your story halfway. Forget it, you can't do it. What are you talking about? Or what? How about we just leave him now? Can you do that? Polly asked. The three of them were silent. If they left him, but they still be able to eat the delicious food? Obviously not. There's no way I could leave. Oh, forget it. Leaving is impossible. The worst that can happen is that I will sink. I will get married sooner or later anyway. Wouldn't it be better to marry a good man? Catherine said. Let's take it one step at a time. Why think so much? Corella said. Sisters, look, they are looking at our husbands with sneaky eyes. They definitely have bad intentions, said Polly. Definitely not with good intentions. Our husband is so outstanding. How many women would not like him when they meet him? Then what should we do? We can't just watch them approach our husbands, right? What else can we do? There is nothing we can do. Uxin was eating snake meat and preparing to grill crabs. Using a special baking technique, the aroma of the crab soon spreads. Ooh. The howling of large numbers of wolves could be heard. It must be the delicious food that attracted the wolves, Thalia said calmly. Others weren't nervous at all. After all, they all know how powerful they are, and they are actually looking forward to meeting the wolves. Catherine and the others all looked terribly pale. Oh no, this is a pack of wolves, the wolves from the primeval forest. They are wild, huge, and live in groups. There are at least 30 or 40 of them. Judging from the noise, we should be surrounded by wolves. What should we do? Kelly said in panic. Only then did they notice that Stephen and the others didn't seem afraid at all. Calm down a bit, look at them. Why don't they seem to be afraid of the wolves at all? Really, this is so strange. Shouldn't I not be afraid? The sounds of the wolves were getting closer and closer, and soon dozens of huge wolves came into their sight. Huaxian leaned against the crab and was not worried at all. The four frightened Karanas had already hidden beside Huaxian. Valia and the others spread out to face the wolves. Otilia said, how about we compete to see who kills more wolves? Okay, Polly was the first to agree. I'm sure I won't be bad. Valia said firmly, thinking to herself, I will never embarrass myself in front of my husband. Ollie and the others were shocked when they heard what Stephen and the others said. I thought to myself, how brave do you have to be to not be afraid of wolves? Superior. Polly was the first to rush towards the wolves. Xiaene and the others also rushed out. Only Dufai and Agnes stood still without moving. Catherine and the others were completely stunned when they saw this scene. Bang, 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 bang. The next moment, they saw in horror that those bloody wolves with bared fangs and claws were easily beaten by a group of women. In a short while, dozens of wolves were driven away. Catherine muttered in shock, how can they be so powerful and bold? Uxian laughed and said, because they are tigresses. I chased away 5 wolves. Xiaene's excited voice came. I have 5 too. Hey, I'm just at the top of the mountain. And the wolves are all heading towards you. It's not fair. Stephen said disappointed lie. I killed 7 of them. It's a pity that we still have to eat crabs, otherwise we could eat wolf meat. Wolf meat might be tastier. I've never eaten it before. If I had known, I would have left one. As they talked, they started discussing food. Okay, the wolves have been driven away. Come and eat crabs, you foodies. Yeah, the crabs are ready. They must be delicious. Valia was the first to run over. Nonsense, everything my husband leaves is delicious. Everyone gathered around. Catherine and the other 3 were so scared that they quickly moved aside, fearing that they would be beaten up as wolves. Ouch! What is this? The Wolf King. Chapter 121, Trap. A huge grey wolf came into everyone's sight. This grey wolf was more than twice the size of the previous ones and exuded a bloodthirsty aura. This wolf is so strong, I'm afraid it's no less than a 3rd-level genetic warrior, Otilia said. Are we opponents then? Stephen asked worriedly. We are 4th-level genetic warriors, what do you think? Otilia asked back. I don't dare to go up, Otilia. You go up, Valia said. Whoosh. Otilia rushed over. Oops. The giant wolf was provoked and leapt over with an angry roar. The terrifying aura made Paula and the others tremble with fear. Boom. Otilia had a violent collision with the huge wave. The giant wolf flipped and flew out. Otilia fell to the ground and took several steps back. Is this giant wolf close to level 4? Polly said in a trembling voice. Uxin nodded and said, almost the same after all. They are beasts 7 though they are weaker than humans. They have the advantage of natural strength, their disadvantage is their low intelligence. Boom! Otilia leapt up and kicked the giant wolf hard on the head. He kicked the giant wolf heavily to the ground. The giant wolf suffered a severe shock and although it quickly climbed up, its body was still shaking. Oh! After an angry roar, he turned around and ran away. Otilia returned to everyone nonchalantly, picked up a crab and started eating. Wow, Sister Otilia. You are so awesome, Valia said in a crazy way. You are so capable. But you are a little timid. Got it, I'll be braver next time. Are you still human? Corona looked at them and asked in shock. Of course not, we are all gods, Xayene said. Immortal? Is he the powerful immortal cultivator mentioned in the legend? Kelly asked in shock. Even more powerful than immortal cultivators. Xayene spoke more and more in awe. Then, can we also become gods? Catherine asked enviously. Of course not, you are all mortals and it is impossible for you to become gods. This is not a place for you to come, leave quickly, Polly said. Paula said, why do I feel like you are deceiving us? We are all the same people, why are you gods and we are ordinary people? Yes, you must be deceiving us, Corona also reacted. Agnes pulled Huxin aside. Sophia was extremely envious when she saw this. She knew that Agnes was also going to take action. By then, she will be the only ordinary person among this group of people. Agnes, is there anything I can help you with? Huxin asked while eating. I've thought it through, I also want to practice dual cultivation with you. After saying that, he pulled Huxin into the bushes. Then be extremely proactive. Huxin looked at the frank and naked Agnes and asked in disbelief. Are you sure you have thought it through? I'm sure. Come on. Well, don't regret it. The dual cultivation began. Catherine and the others were extremely curious what was the girl doing when she pulled the dragon man into the bushes. The few people plucked up their courage and walked over. Valia said, see, they went to peek, should we stop them? No need, they don't know about dual cultivation, they will probably be disgusted when they see what's going on between my husband and Agnes. They might even leave. That's right. Under the gaze of Polly and the others, Kelly and the other 3 carefully walked to the edge of the bushes and looked inside. When she saw the scene of Huxin and Agnes practicing together, her face instantly turned red. I cursed inwardly, how shameless. We were just eating, and now we're doing such shameful things. This is too much. I think we should leave, Paula said, pale-eyed. I thought to myself, no matter how good this dragon guy is at cooking, I don't want to be his slave. In his opinion, the women who followed him were no different from slaves. I think we should leave too, Kelly said. Then let's leave. They don't welcome us anyway. The 4 finally reached an agreement and left. When leaving, each of them took a few crabs. After nearly 2 hours, Agnes finally achieved her wish and gained the strength of a 4th-level genetic warrior. Sophia was extremely envious. Sister Sophia, if you wanted to, then go find a husband yourself, said Valia. Everyone noticed Sophia's expression. But I'm an old woman in my 40s, and my boss will definitely look down on me. Sophia said with inferiority complex and lack of confidence. How will you know unless you try, said Polly. I'd better wait and talk about it. At this time Huxin and Agnes came over and said, have you finished eating? We should get going now. After saying that, he led the way and left. After everyone packed up simply, they started on their journey. Husband, if we keep going along this road, we will enter the territory of the primitive tribe in 3 days. However, this road is full of dangers, so everyone must be careful. Countless adventurers died tragically on this canyon road. No one took it seriously because they were all 4th-level genetic warriors now. Boom! Suddenly, Huxin, who was walking in front, guessed the trap, and the ground under his feet collapsed instantly. Fortunately, Huxin reacted extremely quickly, spinning his body and landing lightly on the ground next to the belt. A large pit with a radius of 3 meters was left on the spot. Everyone looked down into the pit and saw sharp bamboo sticks and wooden stakes everywhere. If an ordinary person went down there, they would surely die. Agnes said, this should be a trap set by hunters. Hunter? I think it's a murderer, Huxin said coldly. Setting traps on a road like this would be murderous. Right? Agnes said, this is a primeval forest, anything can happen, so we have to be careful at every step. Let's go. And continue on our journey. This time, Huxin was extra careful about his surroundings. He hadn't walked far when he stopped to listen. Valio asked curiously, Hubby, what's wrong? Huxin walked forward, threw away the leaves, grabbed a dry supporting stick and pulled it. Boom! A road that looked smooth and without any problems collapsed. Everyone was stunned. It turned out to be another trap. Why do I feel like this trap is set to capture us humans? It is said that there are cannibals in the primeval forest. Could this be a trap set by them? Emily said. Agnes said. It's impossible, the cannibals live in the deepest part of the primeval forest. Even if we encounter humans here, they are from the native tribes. They can't be cannibals. Maybe that's the primitive tribe? Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Dozens of javelins were thrown at them. Chapter 122. Ex-hyena versus the tiger. Oh, oh, oh. As the javelins were thrown, dozens of savages rushed towards them with strange screams. Huaxian and his men were surrounded from all directions, obviously treating them as prey. Huaxian and his men easily dodged this batch of javelins. Even so, these savages were not afraid at all. They held javelins and narrowed the encirclement. How could this happen? This place is still on the outskirts of the primitive tribe. They shouldn't be here, Agnes said, puzzled. Lie. System. Strengthen the original tribal language for me. Ding. Congratulations to the host, you have successfully strengthened the primitive tribal language. Gigi gu agua, who are you? Huaxian asked. The people in the primitive tribe were all stunned, as if they had not expected that there were people who could speak their language. Outsiders, you are the ones who invaded us first and disturbed our lives. You are our enemies now. Put down your weapons and follow us. The leading primitive man said righteously. Honey, can you understand what they are saying? Value asked curiously. Yes, I know a little bit of the language of the primitive tribe. And what did he say? Asked Polly. They said we had invaded their world, disrupted their lives and were their enemies. Huaxian spread his hands towards the primitive people and said, look, we are all unarmed as for following you. Fine. Lead the way. Block. The primitive people immediately made way. Huaxian said, let's go and take a look at their tribe. Everyone followed Huaxian, and these primitive people were on high alert behind them. Oh. Some became excited, thinking they had won. Boss, I'm scared, Sophia said as she walked up to Huaxian. After all, she was the only ordinary person in the crowd, and it was normal for her to be afraid of the ferocious-looking savages. Don't be afraid, just follow me. Huaxian personally pulled her forward. Feeling the warmth from Huaxian's hand, Sophia's breathing quickened. I thought, the boss doesn't seem to dislike me, so do I have a chance to? Roar. After walking for about 2 hours, a tiger roar was suddenly heard. Oh. These primitive people became panicked and were on full alert. They formed a small circle around the city and were ready for battle. Soon, a huge tiger came into everyone's sight. The way the tiger looked at them was like it was looking at delicious prey. It was obviously a man-eating tiger. Roar. The tiger was very hungry and pounced towards them with a roar. Attack. The savage leader roared, and all the savages threw their spears at the tiger. Puff puff puff. The tiger was fast and was obviously not the first to face the attack of the savages. It easily dodged the thrown spears and then pounced towards Huaxian and the others. Obviously, Huaxian and his friends with their tender white meat looked more delicious. Oh, the leader of the savage tribe shouted and retreated. The savages who had originally regarded Huaxian and his companions as prey all fled away in a swarm. I'll do it. Jaina roared and rushed towards the tiger. As the only half-dragon, she didn't want to lose face. Huaxian watched carefully and would take action immediately if Hyena was in danger. Jaina's first attack was dodged by the cunning tiger. Otilia said, this tiger is much more powerful and smarter than the Wolf King. Hearing this, everyone else became nervous. Roar. The tiger reacted quickly and bit Jaina hard. Hyena concentrated her mind and tried her best to deal with the tiger, narrowly avoiding it. Valia couldn't help but screaming when he saw this terrifying scene. Whoosh. Her body was tightly hung by the tiger's paws, and Hyena felt a burning pain in the places where she was attacked. At this moment, a huge hole was torn in the high-quality tights. The cool feeling not only did not scare Hyena, but made her even calmer. With a loud roar, like a seasoned hunter, he once again took the initiative to rush towards the tiger. There was only one thought in her mind. She must defeat the tiger and not embarrass her husband or the dragon people. She could not be worse than the Americans. Boom! Hyena and Menjiichu slapped each other fiercely. The tiger's enormous strength slapped her and sent her flying 7 or 8 meters away. And the tiger itself was also blown away more than 3 meters. The reaction was extremely swift, as if it was enraged. The tiger burst out with a bloody and brutal aura, roaring and pouncing towards Hyena. Why do I feel that this tiger has become even more powerful? Steven said mentally. The tiger's bloodlust has been completely aroused. You know, this is not a tiger raised artificially from the outside world, but a night tiger that lives at the top of the food chain. Ali said. Can Sister Shayna be a match for this tiger? Steven asked. She won't lose because she doesn't want to lose and can't lose, said Otilia. Why? Everyone else was confused. Ali said. Because she is from Dragon Country. She must prove to us that dragon country women are no worse than American women. Aren't we all family? Why is there still racial discrimination? Valia asked curiously. This is not racial discrimination. This is racial spirit. The people of Long Country have always been very brave. Otherwise, of course, the people of Darai Country would not have been unable to defeat them for so many years. Boom! There was another loud noise. Xiena seized the opportunity, avoided the tiger's fatal attack, and kicked the tiger hard in the buttocks. The kick was so powerful that the tiger flew out and hit a tree heavily. The tree, which was so big that it took 2 people to hug it, began to shake violently under the impact. The tiger rolled to the ground, struggled for a few times before getting up. When it looked at Xiena again, there was a look of fear and shock in its eyes. Xiena was already bloodthirsty, carrying a hint of murderous intent, and rushed towards the tiger like a madman. Roar! Faced with this scene, the tiger let out an angry roar, turned around and ran away. Easy come, easy go. Victory, Sister Shayna won, Steven shouted in surprise. Ine, there's no need to chase her, Huaxian shouted. Only then did Shayna stop. Anting, she returned to Huaxian and said, Honey, I didn't embarrass you, did I? Huaxian hugged her in his arms and said, No, you are the best. Receiving Huaxian's praise, Xiena showed a happy smile on her face, feeling that all the hard work and danger she had just experienced were worth it. If I had known, I would have dealt with this tiger, Emily said enviously. There are plenty of opportunities. In the primeval forest, there is no shortage of ferocious beasts. As we go deeper, it will only become more and more dangerous. Oh. Unexpectedly, the people from the savage tribe returned and surrounded Huaxian and his men. Chapter 123, Agana. Everyone was immediately disgusted. When they faced them before, these savages were arrogant and ran away when faced with a tiger. Now that the tiger has been driven away, they come out to bully them again. Do they think they are easy to bully? Honey, let me deal with them. Steven volunteered. I'll do it, Emily said quickly. Huaxian shook his head and said, No, they said that we drove away the man-eating bugs and are their heroes. They want to invite us to visit their tribe. Let us go. Oh, Huaxian said a lot of things to the group of savages, and then everyone set off for the savage tribe. Along the way, everyone also discovered that the savages were indeed much more respectful to them. At least they did not feel any hostility. Buff. A huge spider web fell from the sky. Oh my god, big spider, how can there be such a huge spider in the world? Sophia shouted in shock. Others are not much better. Who's going to deal with this giant spider? Just be careful of the spider web it spits out. This giant spider is not poisonous, but its bite force is amazing. I'll go. As soon as Huaxian finished speaking, Emily rushed over. He thought that since Octilia defeated the giant wolf and Shayna defeated the tiger, he must defeat the spider. Oh! Seeing a woman rushing towards the big spider, the savages screamed in fear. However, this time they did not run away. When Emily approached the big spider had already spit spider webs at her many times. Emily avoided them all. Emily was shocked by the huge stickiness of the spider web just by stepping on it. She realized that if she was stuck to it, she would become food for the big spider. So she was extra careful about the spider webs spewed by the big spider. Seeing the big spider approaching, Alini burst out and rushed over at full speed. He wanted to have a head-on fight with the giant spider, but the big spider didn't give him any chance. It jumped lightly on its 8 legs and climbed up a big tree. He turned around and spit spider webs at Emily. Emily could only dodge in embarrassment. He suddenly grabbed a branch and threw it hard at the big spider. Phew! The big spider used its precise silk web to intercept the branch and made it fall to the ground. Emily burst out with all her strength and rushed towards the top of the tree trunk. Seeing this scene, others were stunned. Because this goes against physics. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. The big spider was not afraid at all and kept spitting spider webs at Emily. Emily, who was on the tree trunk, had to expend a lot of energy to jump onto the trees beside the road to avoid it. In the end, she simply hid behind a tree, making the giant spider's web completely ineffective against her. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief. I also realized that this giant spider would have a harder time giving birth than giant waves and tigers. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. The big spider actually took this opportunity to jump easily on the tree with its 8 legs. Emily, be careful of your head, Steven warned loudly. Emily looked up and saw that the giant spider was right above her head. Less than 3 meters away. Vomit. A mouthful of spider web was spat out at her. At this moment, Emily, who was out of breath, had no time to dodge and could only close her eyes in despair to be quiet. Whoosh. Huaxian disappeared from the spot in an instant. Emily only felt her waist tighten when she opened her eyes. A familiar face came into view, and she felt instantly safe. The next moment, Huaxian jumped up holding Emily. A kick as fast as lightning is like a big spider. The big spider wanted to dodge, but it was too late. Bang! Hu Jaskets pounded hard. A huge body flew out like a meteorite. Boom! In my dread, it exploded. Disgusting stuff was splattered everywhere, and a pungent stench could be smelled from far away. The big spider fell to the ground, struggled for a few times, and then became motionless. Huaxian held Emily in his arms and floated down to the ground. Emily looked at Huaxian's face and a very happy smile appeared on her face. My man is so handsome. Oh! At this time, all the savages knelt on the ground and bowed to Huaxian. Honey, am I useless? Emily said with some inferiority complex when she thought about how she couldn't even deal with a giant spider. Silly boy, this is your first time fighting against such a strange creature, and you are already doing very well. Thank you, husband, for not disliking me. Honey, what are they whispering about? Xia walked over and pointed at the primitive group of people and asked. They said I was a god and asked me to bless them. I see, but honey, you were so handsome just now, like a god. Agnes frowned and said, I've been to this primeval forest at least 98 times. If not 100, this is the first time I've encountered a giant spider like this. It feels very unusual. Just ask them and you'll know. Huaxian said as he walked towards the primitive man. Let me ask you, have those giant spiders always existed? Yes, God, they have always existed and feed us, thank you, God, for destroying the demon spiders. So, there are still a lot of these big spiders? Yes, there are a lot, especially in the cave opposite. Okay, take me to your tribe if possible, I will kill all the giant spiders. Oh. Hearing this, the savages were extremely excited. Next, after experiencing several waves of danger, they finally arrived at the savage tribe before it became completely dark. Seeing the arrival of the strange humans, countless savage women and children ran out to watch curiously. Dad, are they the prey you caught? A savage child asked curiously. Shut up and don't talk nonsense. If you blaspheme God, we will all die, the leader shouted angrily. How many people are there in your tribe? Why are you appearing on the outskirts of the primeval forest? Huaxian asked curiously. There are only more than 130 people in our tribe. We were driven out by the main tribe, we had nowhere to go. So we could only find a place to survive in the outer area of the primeval forest. The leader explained bitterly. Why did your main tribe drive you away? Huaxian became more and more curious. Because I made a mistake. My entire lineage was punished. Fortunately, the prophet forgave us. So we were driven out to fend for ourselves. Agana, the leader shouted to a wild girl. Daddy, the girl named Dagana responded and walked out. Along the way, he looked at Huaxian curiously. I thought, is this a man from the outside world? He looks so weak. The leader pulled Agana to kneel in front of Huaxian and said, God, this is the only daughter and the most beautiful woman of our tribe. Our tribe is willing to dedicate her to the Lord God. I hope that the Lord God will have us. Agana, from now on you are God's woman and must obey God's orders. Chapter 124 Faith. Agana is willing to dedicate himself to the gods. Please accept Agana and bless our people with peace. As Agana said this, he knelt down towards Huaxian. Huaxian was dumbfounded. Is there such a good thing? Although Forrest Gump's skin color is a bit dark, like brown, she has a good figure and her eyes are particularly beautiful. As if her eyes are her soul, very charming. Besides, how could anyone refuse this exotic beauty? Okay, I accept your sacrifice. I will destroy those giant spiders tomorrow and let you live a peaceful life. Oh. Hearing this, all the savages danced and shouted excitedly. Honey, what are they doing? Value asked curiously. Huaxian smiled and said, they sacrificed the most beautiful woman in their tribe. This Agana, to me. I told you, it must be like this. Xia said. Hubby, you really don't dislike anything. Ollie said with a wry smile. Anyway, according to her aesthetic standards, she doesn't like Agana. Don't talk nonsense. God, this way please. The leader said in a good mood. Then they entered their tribal square, where everyone sang and danced, and slaughtered pigs and sheep to entertain them. Hubby, show me your skills. Watching the savages simply prepare the food, Dealia and the others said to Huaxian. Okay, let me show you my skills. Huaxian walked over and helped the women of the savage tribe prepare the food. Boom boom boom. The savage women, seeing that the gods themselves had come to help them, were so frightened that they quickly knelt on the ground. Flattered. In the savage tribe, cooking is the women's job. And the men are only responsible for hunting and the safety of women and children. Boom boom boom. The men were so scared when they saw this that they knelt down. God, please calm down. God, please calm down. God, please calm down. I thought Huaxian was dissatisfied with the food prepared by the women and was begging in fear. Everyone, get up. I'm just going to cook myself, and the women can just help me. Only after Huaxian spoke did the savages stand up, flattered. The women of the savages watched Huaxian grilling food with infatuation. Agana was next to Huaxian, helping. Others were extremely envious when they saw this scene. For them, it was a great honor to be able to serve the gods. Soon, the aroma of dozens of roasted pigs and lambs began to spread. These savages had never smelled such delicious food before and their mouths were drooling all over the floor. "Daddy, is that the food that gods eat?" a savage child asked with his butt hanging down. In fact, savage children, both boys and girls, will not wear clothes until they reach the age of 16. Adult men had a bamboo pole to cover their private parts, while women had animal skins, which only covered their lower bodies. They did not need anything upper body. So too normal people. A picture looks a bit weird. Teenage boys and girls were actually naked. They themselves did not feel any discomfort, but instead felt it was very normal. Gurgle gurgle. As the fragrance became stronger and stronger, not only the savages, but even Value and the others couldn't help swallowing. As expected of a god, the food he makes is so delicious. This is definitely food that only a true god can make. I pay my respects to the true god. With genes as food, Huaxian's status in the hearts of these savages rose again. "Ali, what are you doing? Why does it smell so good?" A questioning voice came from a distance. Everyone looked over curiously and saw a group of strong men holding long-haired weapons walking towards them. When the leader saw Huaxian and the other humans wearing the same uniform, he shouted angrily, "Ali, are you crazy? You actually colluded with these foreign humans. Come, capture them all, kill the men, and take the women back as slaves." Following his order, the people behind him all rushed towards Huaxian and his group. But their eyes were all fixed on the food grilled by Huaxian. It was so hot that they couldn't help drooling. "Amohi! Stop it, you can't challenge the gods." Hearing Ali calling these outsiders fools to the gods, Amohi became even more angry. "Ali, you really brought shame to our savage tribe. I will definitely report it to the king and make your cowardly tribe disappear. Amohi, you will pay the price." Agum also shouted loudly. "Agana, no one can make me pay the price. I am the future king of the savage tribe. You should come with me willingly, you will not suffer any loss in my 13th house." Agana said angrily, "Amohi, I am now the woman of God. If you dare to blaspheme me, it is blasphemy against God and you will be cursed." "Stupid, there are no gods in this world." "Is that so?" Huaxian's body floated up gently, and at the same time, an extremely powerful pressure emanated from him. Not to mention these savages, Xiayine and the others were also shocked when they saw this side of Huaxian. Boom boom boom. All the people of the Ali tribe knelt on the ground. Holding their heads and crawling on the ground, they were tortured terribly. I prayed in my heart, thinking of Huaxian, and prayed sincerely. Ding, congratulations to the host, pretending to be a charlatan, and gaining the power of faith of sincere believers. Gaining 135 points every second. Ding, every point of faith power can be exchanged for one strengthening point. Huaxian was overjoyed when he heard the system prompt. He didn't expect that the power of faith really existed and he could even gain strengthening points. Amo and the other savages were all stunned with shock and scared to the point of peeing their pants. They never imagined who this person dressed as an outsider really was. Except for gods, no human being can float in the air. What's more, it exudes a powerful pressure. "Get out of here. If you dare to challenge me again, you will be annihilated and never be reborn." As Huaxian cursed, a powerful pressure pressed down. Boom boom boom. These stunned savages were all so frightened that they knelt on the ground and were tortured terribly. "God, please spare us. God, please spare us. God, please spare us. We won't dare to do it again. Never again." Roll. Huaxian was originally prepared to severely punish these rampant savages. But for the power of faith, he gave up. People in the outside world don't believe in gods or anything like that. On the contrary, these savages are different, so it is most practical to gain the power of faith from them. Faced with the angry god, these savages just rolled away obediently. "Not only is there no hatred in my heart, but my faith grows even stronger." Huaxian retracted his momentum and slowly landed on the ground. The people of Ali's tribe are still praying and praying for blessings. These are all the power of faith. "Honey, you're so handsome." Xiayine excitedly threw herself into Huaxian's arms and said. Others gathered around as well. Huaxian said calmly, "Don't be envious if you follow me, you can be so powerful too." Chapter 125 Spider's Nest. Next, food was distributed. The savages had never eaten such delicious food before. And they knelt on the ground excitedly, thanking God for the gift. Huaxian made a lot of money again. After dinner, they were arranged to stay in the best accommodation in the tribe. Huaxian naturally came to Agana's residence. In the room built with salvage tree and book covers, Forrest Gump lowered his head in shame, not knowing where to put his hands. "My Lord God, how do you need me to serve you?" Agana asked respectfully. Huaxian looked her over and asked, "Are you really willing to serve me?" Agana immediately knelt on the ground and said in a worshipful tone, "Agana is sincerely willing to serve the gods and is willing to dedicate everything to the gods." It was so cruel that the power of faith appeared. Huaxian helped her up and asked, "Then are you willing to be the god's woman?" "Ah, is it possible?" Being a woman of God was a problem she couldn't even imagine. Because that would be blasphemy against God. Sure. Gunnel is willing. Extremely excited. For him, being regarded as his woman by God is a great honor and the greatest honor in her life. From this moment on, you are God's woman, you don't need to feel inferior. Huaxian said as he hugged her in his arms and kissed her gently. Enjoying the exotic atmosphere. Agana's true nature was soon revealed. Ambitious and wild. Huaxian smiled bitterly. If it were an ordinary man from outside, he would probably not be able to bear it. "My Lord God, are you satisfied with Agana?" After 3 hours, Agana snuggled into Huaxian's arms, enjoying it very much and asked with satisfaction, "Satisfy? My Lord God, why do I feel like I have gained great power after serving you?" "Because this is the feedback from the gods." Forrest Gump was so happy that he thought, "Serving God has such great benefits. My Lord God, will I give birth to a child of God? I think so." That night, Forrest Gump was full of curiosity and asked many questions. Huaxian also patiently answered many questions. The next day. Get up early. The savage tribes have no habit of eating breakfast. The men went out early to look for prey. The women also got up early to prepare food for lunch so that they could enjoy delicious food when the men came back from hunting. "Greetings, Lord God." When they saw Huaxian, the savages put down what they were doing and knelt down devoutly. "No need to be polite, just go about your business." An old woman pulled Agump aside and said, "Agump, Lord God, are you enjoying yourself?" "Mother, the God has made me his woman and granted me great power. What do you think?" Forrest Gump grabbed a nut that was so hard that even a stone would have to use a lot of force to crack it. Click. Crumbles easily. Seeing this scene, her mother was so scared that she knelt on the ground. He knelt down and kowtowed to Huaxian, muttering in a sadistic manner, "God, thank you, Lord God. Agana, take me to find those big spiders." Huaxian ordered. "The power of faith has been earned. And Agana has also learned the truth. It's time to do something. Honey, are we going to deal with the big spider? Let's go together." Tilly and the others came over. "Okay, let's go together." Upon hearing that Huaxian and his men were going to deal with the giant man-eating spider, the men, women, and children of the savage tribe put down what they were doing and led the way, looking forward to seeing the scene of the gods eliminating the man-eating spider for them. Soon they arrived at the bottom of a cliff full of caves. From a distance, the caves were covered with spider webs. Whoosh! It seemed as if it sensed someone's arrival. On a big tree, a huge spider suddenly pounced on a savage. Bang! The next moment, Huaxian floated in the air where the spider was originally. When he looked again, the big spider had been kicked against the stone wall and turned into a pile of debris. "Long live the gods! The gods are invincible!" The savages shouted excitedly when they saw a giant spider being killed instantly. The power of faith increased dramatically, and Huaxian was happy when he saw the endless flow of power of faith. A powerful burst of force. Boom, boom, boom. Under the absolute power, all the big spiders hidden among the numbers could not withstand the huge pressure and exploded to death. The corpses of big spiders fell to the ground. Looking at the corpses, the savages all turned pale. If these big spiders go out hunting together, more than 100 people will not be enough to kill them all. At this moment, they were extremely grateful that there was life that helped them to eliminate these giant spiders. Huaxian accelerated and rushed into a cave. It was damp inside. With a terrible stench, the ground was covered in slime. Or maybe it was giant spider feces, which was extremely disgusting. The next moment, a scene that made Huaxian's scalp tingle appeared. The cave was filled with densely packed spiders. These spiders are not very big, so their size is a concern, but there are so many of them that they look like baby spiders. Sensing the enemy invasion, these spiders rushed towards Huaxian fearlessly. It looked so densely packed, extremely disgusting and scary. Boom! The power in Huaxian's body erupted again. The 4 attribute power of tens of millions caused the space in the cave to distort. Boom, boom, boom. Then swarms of small spiders exploded. And a terrible smell made Huaxian want to vomit. He quickly caught his breath and felt better. He accelerated and rushed in. Wherever they passed, in addition to densely packed spider babies, there were also many skeletons, both human and wild animal. Boom, boom, boom. At this moment, a shrill heartbeat sound came into Huaxian's ears. It was extremely shocking. It was definitely the sound of a heartbeat, but how huge a volume would be needed to produce such a piercing heartbeat? Soon we arrived at a huge cave, which was filled with densely packed caves. And the end of the connection was this cave. The floor of the cave was covered with layer upon layer of white bones. Right above it, there was an extremely huge spider, which was probably 10 meters tall. Huaxian was stunned by what he saw. I just can't understand how such a huge spider could appear in a world like Earth. Fantastic. The big spider's heartbeat was extremely powerful, like thunder. And there was actually a red dot on the chest of the big spider. From that red dot, Huaxian felt a powerful aura of strength. From this, we can judge that this big spider is definitely not simple. Whoosh. Behind the big spider, densely packed spiders rushed towards Huaxian when they saw this. They have sharp teeth and claws, exuding a bloodthirsty aura, giving people a feeling of extreme cruelty. Chapter 126. God, he is really God. Densely packed huge spiders rushed towards Huaxian one after another. Whoosh. Huaxian disappeared from the spot in an instant and approached the Spider King. The Spider King used a huge spider leg to slash towards Huaxian fiercely. The speed was so fast and the force was so great that the space was distorted. Huaxian dodged quickly. The spider's legs pierced into the stone as easily as they would into the soil. Huaxian was shocked by this scene. The damage of the Spider King was terrifyingly high. The next moment, he grabbed one of the Spider King's thighs and was about to exert force. But he felt a sharp pain in his hand and quickly let go, only to find that his hand was actually pierced by the fine thorns on the Spider King's thigh. It's so shocking. How can this Spider King be so powerful? At this time, one could even feel a breath of destruction erupting from the Spider King's body. Ding mission: destroy the Spider King, complete the mission, and receive a reward of 10 million reinforcement points. I didn't expect that the Spider King actually activated a mission. A reward of 10 million reinforcement points made Huaxian realize that the Spider King was not simple. Whoosh. A mouthful of spider web was spat at him. Huaxian dodged quickly. Magnetic. It was discovered that the spider webs that fell on the ground actually carried a huge corrosive force, which corroded the stones and made them crackle. Approaching the Spider King again. Without any weapon to withstand the attack, Huaxian was about to punch her huge butt. Rush. The Spider King placed his two thighs behind his back to block Huaxian's attack. Then his other legs burst out with rapid attack towards Huaxian. Boom! There was a loud bang. Huaxian was knocked back dozens of meters. Whoosh! The Spider King jumped towards Huaxian and chopped down Huaxian heavily with its sharp and powerful claws. Huaxian felt that his arm was almost losing feeling after attacking the Spider King just now. And he didn't dare to confront the Spider King head-on. He broke out at the fastest speed and dodged it narrowly. System, open all the primary strengthening pills for me. Ding, congratulations to the host, you have opened 300 primary strengthening pills and obtained 150 million strengthening points. The current remaining strengthening points are 172,447,790 points. System, strengthen my 4 attributes by 40 million points each. Ding, congratulations to the host, the 4 attributes have been strengthened by 40 million points each. 160 million strengthening points have been consumed. And the remaining strengthening points are 12,447,790 points. All of a sudden Huaxian's 4 attributes all reached 50 million points. And he felt his combat power skyrocket. Facing the Spider King who was coming to attack him again, Huaxian just stretched out a hand, grabbed a sharp spider leg that was stabbing at him, and broke it with force. With a snap, the spider's legs were broken and it leapt up at an extremely fast speed. He landed on the Spider King's giant ass and used his spider legs to pierce the Spider King's head. Roared. The huge damage caused the Spider King to let out a deafening scream in pain. It was extremely harsh and the sound spread far away. All the people outside were shocked unconscious by the terrifying sonar. Click. Huaxian broke one of the Spider King's thighs again, and stabbed hard into the place where the red light was flashing. He reached in, grabbed a fist-sized red energy stone and pulled it out. Ding, the Spider King's energy gem can be exchanged for 50 million enhancement points. Do you want to exchange it? Exchange. Ding, congratulations to the host for successfully exchanging 50 million enhancement points. The current remaining enhancement points are 62,447,790 points. The spider web lost its energy source and stopped struggling completely after a while. Ding, congratulations to the host, you have completed the task of destroying the spider web and received a reward of 10 million reinforcement points. Huaxian discovered that spiders' legs were very sharp and served as natural weapons. So he collected all the spiders' corpses. Anyway, there is system space, so there is no need to worry about it being difficult to carry. A terrifying ore erupted, and all the other little spiders exploded and died. Huaxian left the cave and came outside, where he found that everyone had fainted. System transfer 100 trillion to Otilia. Ding, congratulations to the host. Within 36 hours, you have completed the consumption of 800 trillion US dollars and received 3 primary strengthening pills as rewards. Ding, new mission. Within 48 hours, complete the task and spend 1 MUSD. If you fail the mission, you will be permanently disabled. If you complete the mission, you will be rewarded with the primary strengthening pills. Everyone wake up, Huaxian roared with all his might. Everyone then woke up from their drowsiness. How is my husband? Have all the spiders been eliminated? Valia asked. Honey, what kind of creature was that emitting the sound waves just now? It was so strong that I was almost knocked unconscious. Otilia said. That was the Spider King, an extremely huge super spider, but now I have dealt with it. Huaxian said it lightly. But everyone could tell from the sound waves that knocked them out that the Spider King was very powerful. And it was also clear that this battle would not be easy. Honey, thank you for your hard work, Valia said with concern. Don't feel bad, let's go back to the tribe to have a rest. And then go to the savage tribe's headquarters to take a look. When they learned that all the spiders had been destroyed, the people of the Yagana tribe were extremely excited. God, now that all the spiders have been eliminated, this cave on the cliff is simply a natural barrier. Can we move here to live? A savage said expectantly. The other savages also looked excited. The spiders have all been eliminated. If you don't mind being disgusting, you can always move here and live. Yeah, I kneel down to thank God. They were all very happy. For them nothing was better than a safe home. When they returned to the tribe, the men had all come to hunt. They were very happy to hear that the spiders had been killed. Ali immediately took his master to check. Are you the god that Amohi mentioned? In the distance, an old man with grey hair came over with a wooden scepter in his hand and asked. Behind him followed a dense group of savages, all of whom were holding weapons and had friendly expressions. Yes, Lord Prophet. Greetings, Lord Prophet. The Prophet holds a status comparable to that of a god among the savages. So when people see the Prophet, they will immediately kneel down in worship. Even though they had been expelled from the main tribe, they were still extremely respectful to the Prophet. It can be said that even if the Prophet asked them to die, they would not hesitate. When Huaxian saw so many savages coming, at least 1 or 2,000, he immediately became very happy, because these were all beliefs. Once you get it, you can get more than 2,0 strengthening points in 1 second, which is simply too good to be true. Who are you? I am the prophet of the savage tribe. I am the Almighty God. How dare you, an outsider, pretend to be me? Restriction raised the scepter, and before he could finish his words, they were stuck in his throat. Just because Huaxian had floated up silently, there was no energy fluctuation around his body, just like a feather, floating gently. God, he really is God. Meet the gods. Chapter 127, Divine Punishment. All the savages knelt down before Huaxian and kowtowed to him due to the torture. The prophet had to put down the scepter in his hand, but he was unwilling to do so as a prophet. He knew that there was no god in this world. But the stranger in front of him really flew up. Evil magic. He is using evil magic. He is not a god at all, he is a devil. The prophet suddenly shouted. Prophet, don't talk nonsense. There are countless giant spiders over there at Spider Cliff. This is known to all the tribesmen now. The gods have taken action, and all those giant spiders have been destroyed. But Spider Cliff is a very good shelter, but it has always been occupied by spiders, which all the savages know. Now they heard that the spiders had been wiped out, and they were all shot. Doesn't this prove that they can live in Spider Cliff? Those caves are natural shelters. I don't believe that he can destroy those evil big spiders. The prophet made his last struggle. Ali said, it's not up to you to decide whether you believe it or not. You can find out for yourself when you go and see it. Upon hearing this, countless savages rushed towards Spider Cliff. After seeing the situation at the scene, countless savages vomited continuously, and more were shocked. Were those countless giant spiders really all destroyed? God, no one can do it except God. God, thank you. Countless savages knelt devoutly in the direction where Huaxian was. Huaxian felt the power of faith surging and a bright smile appeared on his face. I want to visit the main tribe of your savages, is that okay? Huaxian said in the language of the savages. No problem. Please, God. The chief of the main tribe gave a warm welcome. Then he went to the headquarters of the savages. How many people are there in your tribe? Huaxian asked expectantly. Your Majesty, our tribe has a total of 13 people, but most of them are elderly and women. After about 3 hours, we arrived at the main tribe, the only canyon, which was surrounded by cliffs on both sides, forming a natural barrier. Of course there are pros and cons. This is not the best place to live, so they are eager to get a good place like Spider Cliff. There is water in the cave, so they only need to solve the food problem. Even if facing a powerful enemy, they only need to guard the main entrance of the cave. Hell. Before entering the canyon, we heard loud roars of killing. Run, help, the cannibals are coming. From a distance came the screams of old people and women. God, please pray to God to save our master. Faced with the cannibals' attack, it was too late for the men to provide support, and they could only place their hopes on Huaxian. Huaxian took off into the air and flew to the other end. Looking down from the sky, humanoid creatures that were taller and more powerful than the savage men rushed in with great joy. These creatures, except for their pointy ears and very sharp teeth, are no different from humans. Boom! The space trembled, and a powerful force erupted from Huaxian city, sweeping across an area of several kilometers. Under this pressure, all the savages knelt on the ground trembling. Those cannibals were actually looking at Huaxian, who was high in the sky, and there seemed to be no fear in their eyes. The bone spur in the hand of a savage actually stabbed a pregnant savage fiercely. This scene completely angered Huaxian. Concentrate your pressure and oppress. Tiu. The cannibal immediately started bleeding from all 7 orifices. Ding dong. The bone spur in his hand fell to the ground, and his body fell heavily to the ground. The frightened savage pregnant woman, whose face turned pale, came to her senses and knelt down to Huaxian. Thank you God for saving me, thank you God for saving me. He used so much force that his forehead was cut and bleeding profusely. This is to express respect for the gods. There were also some cannibals who attacked children and the elderly, and they all died instantly. At this moment, the rest of the cannibals finally felt scared. There was fear in his eyes as he looked at Huaxian. The so-called unknown is the most terrifying. It is too terrifying that their people died inexplicably. Oh, their language was similar to that of the savages, and they knelt down and begged for mercy. Huaxian appeared above these cannibals and smelled a pungent bloody scent from them. This shows how brutal these cannibals are. Divine punishment. Shouting these 2 words loudly, Huaxian concentrated all his pressure on these hundreds of cannibals. All of a sudden, all the cannibals began bleeding from all their orifices and died suddenly. This scene shocked the entire cannibal tribe. The prophet, who had been dissatisfied with Huaxian and was thinking of finding a way to expose him, dropped his scepter and knelt on the ground trembling. After seeing this scene, no one except God can create such a horrifying scene. Even if it was those hundreds of cannibals, the men of their savage tribe would have to pay at least 3 times the price to repel the powerful enemy. This is also the reason why there are fewer men than women in the savage tribe. But now, hundreds of those powerful cannibal enemies died in such strange ways. Huaxian slowly turned around and flew back to Xie and A and the others. Meet the gods. The savages around him knelt down immediately. No need to be polite, just go do what you need to do. After Huaxian finished speaking, he took everyone for a stroll. The prophet stood up at this time, holding the scepter, and said, I declare that the Ali tribe brought gods to my tribe and solved the spider disaster and the cannibal disaster. Ali will be the new chief of my tribe, the only chief. Who has any objection? I have no objection. Since he had no objection, naturally no one else would have any objection either, as they thought that he, Ayu, was the original chief of the savage tribe. Ali naturally became the new patriarch of the savage tribe. As the chief of the tribe, I, Ali, declare that the whole tribe will build a statue for the gods. Our tribe will worship the gods from generation to generation. Who has any objection? We have no objection. Who dares to have an opinion? Having an opinion is to offend the gods, which no one dares to offend. My dear god husband, can you come with me alone? Gump asked expectantly. Valio and the others were very curious about what this Agan was going to do. Huaxian smiled and said, just call me husband if you want to take me somewhere. Then led the way. And he said to Valia and the others, Agana is going to take me to a place alone, you can go around on your own. Agana pulled Huaxian and walked towards the direction where he had dealt with the cannibal tribe before. Soon, Agana took Huaxian out of the savage tribe. Along the way, the savages who were cleaning up the battlefield knelt down respectfully when they saw Huaxian, and shouted loudly, Pray to the gods. Chapter 128. Cannibals. Agana led Huaxian out of the canyon, and outside was a vast primeval forest. And all the trees here are towering trees. Huaxian took out his cell phone and found that the signal was completely ineffective here, as if it was blocked by some mysterious force. Agana, where are you taking me? Huaxian couldn't help but ask curiously. The place that often appears in my dreams, I don't know where it is, but I dream about it often. To get there, I have to pass through a cannibal tribe. So I never dared to go. Now that I have you, my god husband, with me, I must go and see it. So magical? Huaxian thought it sounded very mysterious. Yes, I think it's magical. To that place is very beautiful. Ani, can you accompany me to see it? Agump said in a pleading tone, worried that Huaxian would not be willing to accompany her. Okay, I'll go with you. Yeah, thanks, husband. Now, Agana's physique has been strengthened to the level of a 4th level genetic warrior. And the two of them are traveling very quickly. Wow, what a big mushroom. A colorful mushroom taller than a human appeared in sight. Huaxian watched with his mouth wide open. These things should not exist in real life. If he hadn't felt it so truly, he would have suspected that he was dreaming. Giant mushrooms, giant flowers, everything here becomes illogically huge. Humans, you are so brave to intrude into our territory. A cold voice came from the left. After seeing clearly, Agana exclaimed, it's the cannibal girl. Huaxian has already seen that she is at least 2 meters 3 inches tall. With long legs, probably about 1 meter 78 inches tall. She looks very beautiful with pointy ears, and if she doesn't open her mouth, she looks like an elf. But when she opened her mouth, her sharp teeth were exposed. Huaxian looked at her perfect body curves and subconsciously began to fantasize. He wondered what it would be like to practice dual cultivation with a cannibal girl. Damn human man, you actually want to possess me. In that case, then become my food. The cannibal girl actually saw through Huaxian's thoughts and rushed towards him. Agum said, hubby, the cannibals have very sharp eyes. I can see through your inner thoughts from the changes in your eyes. Huaxian just wanted to say, awesome. The cannibal girl had approached him and reached out to grab Huaxian's neck. Her nails as sharp as blades. He grabbed the cannibal girl's wrist and pulled it gently. And the cannibal girl lost her balance and fell into Huaxian's arms. Their strength is about 3 times that of ordinary humans and twice that of savages. This shows how powerful the cannibals are. It seemed that the cannibal girl was hugged by a strange man for the first time. And she stared at Huaxian in a daze. Then he became furious. Damn human, you either become my food or marry me, make your choice. Huaxian said, you should be the one who makes the choice. Should I kill you or sleep with you? Agumpe was afraid that Huaxian really had feelings for this cannibal girl. So she shouted, husband, you can't have sex with cannibals. They only recognize the pure bloodline of their own tribe and won't recognize any outsiders. So, even if I have a baby with her, he won't let me go. That's right, they won't. Even if they are your children, they will kill and eat them when they grow up. That's a shame. Huaxian let go of the cannibal girl and said to Agan, come on, take me to the place you want to go. Husband, are you going to let her go? Agana thought that the cannibal girl should not be released. No matter what, she is a woman. I can't bring myself to do it. So I'll just let her go. Forrest Gump didn't dare to go against the will of God. So he didn't say anything more and continued to lead the way along the route in the dream. Unexpectedly, the cannibal girl followed them and looked at Huaxian's back curiously. Soon we entered a tribe. Some are sowing seeds and everyone is busy. When Huaxian and Agana came over, these people looked at them in surprise. When seeing the cannibal girl behind, someone asked loudly, Harana, are these all your prey? By the way, do you know why the men who went to hunt the savages haven't come back yet? Someone asked. The piranha plant shook its head and said, I encountered them before I even knew about the savage tribe. So I don't know the situation of the others. Agamna couldn't help but say, all the men from your cannibal tribe who went to our savage tribe were killed by our gods. Not a single one survived. Savage girl, you are talking nonsense. Your god is just that useless prophet. What use is he? He is just a cheat for food and drink. Do you think he can kill our warriors? Dream on. No one among the cannibals believed it, as all their warriors were dead. A piranha plant frowned, because she had come into contact with Huaxian. So she was worried that something might have really happened to her tribesmen. Upon learning that outsiders had arrived, more and more cannibals ran out. There were few old people, but mostly children and girls. Huaxian discovered that almost every cannibal girl had long legs. So they were very beautiful. I thought that if she wasn't a cannibal, it would be a pleasure to find her as a wife. Chiduotian, hurry up and take him down. He is very powerful. I am no match for him. Seeing a sturdy man nearly 3 meters tall, the piranha plant shouted excitedly. Chiduotian reacted quickly. He approached Huaxian in a few steps, holding a bone spear in his hand and stabbed it hard into Huaxian's heart. The other cannibals watched with wide eyes. Bang! Huaxian leapt up and kicked Chiduotian hard, sending him flying. It hit a huge thatched house for more than 30 times before rolling to the ground. After struggling for several times, he was unable to get up. Suddenly, all the cannibals were stunned. He was the strongest warrior of their cannibal tribe. And yet he was so vulnerable. The piranha plant was also stunned. And only then did it deeply realize the power of this alien human. After a while, one of the cannibals asked in horror, are all the people from my tribe who went to your savage tribe really dead? Gump said proudly, Of course, the one in front of you is the god of my tribe. The god took action and easily killed those of you cannibals who invaded my tribe. Boom boom boom. After hearing this, many cannibal women collapsed to the ground helplessly. The pillar of the family was dead. What should they do? What are you doing here in my tribe? Are you going to kill us all? Asked a few old men. Hearing the words, kill them all, the other women and children were terrified. Huaxian said calmly, if you don't have eyes, it's not impossible to kill them all. Chapter 129, Dream World. I don't have a good impression of cannibals, so I naturally won't show mercy to them. Feeling Huaxian's murderous intent, the cannibals were all terrified. However, Huaxian did not take any direct action. After all, every race has its own rules. Genare led the way. Agana nodded and continued to lead the way. All the way through the cannibals. The cannibals followed behind. Soon, they were intercepted. An old cannibal stepped out and stopped them, saying, the area ahead is a forbidden area for us cannibals. No one is allowed to enter. Agam said, hubby, the place in my dream is right inside. Huaxian nodded and floated up while holding Forrest Gump. And at the same time a powerful aura burst out. All the cannibals were stunned. God? Is it really God? Ding dong. The old cannibal who tried to stop them was the first to kneel down before Huaxian. God, calm down. Boom boom boom. All the cannibals knelt down. And stood up and shouted, God, please calm down. Huaxian held Agana in his arms and flew directly into the cannibals' forbidden area. No cannibal dared to stop this. Elder, what should we do? They have entered the forbidden area. A tribe member asked worriedly. Us go and we don't know what the forbidden area is like. He is a god, and we can't stop him from going in. Elder, I apply to enter the forbidden area, the piranha plant said suddenly. All eyes were on her. The elder hesitated for a while and said, okay, you are allowed to go in. Remember, you must not offend the gods. Don't worry, elder, I know what to do. After saying this, a piranha plant walked into the forbidden area of her tribe. After Huaxian brought Agana into the forbidden area, he returned to the ground and felt that there was no difference between here and outside. Agana, is there anything different here? Huaxian asked curiously, not noticing anything unusual. I don't have any feeling. I just know that after passing through here, I will enter a cave. And behind the cave is another paradise. So magical? Huaxian was immediately interested. Suddenly, the two of them looked back and saw the piranha plant trotting after them. It stopped when it was 7 or 8 meters away from the two people. What are you following us for? Gump said with disgust. He did not have the slightest good feeling towards this cannibal who had harmed countless of his own people. A piranha plant stared at Huaxian and asked, what exactly do you want to do? Huaxian smiled and said, guess. There is always a curiosity about cannibal girls. Looking at the sharp teeth of the piranha plant, I wondered if my tongue would be bitten if we kissed it. Evil guy, even if you are a god, you are still an evil god. Eyes are the windows to the soul. The carnivorous plant that saw through Huaxian's thoughts roared angrily. Huaxian was amazed and began to daydream as he looked at her body. Damn human, if you have the guts, come at me, stop having evil thoughts all the time. The piranha plant cursed angrily. That's true. Huaxian muttered. And appeared in front of the piranha plant in an instant. After the close contact, the piranha plant was so scared that it took 2 steps back. Then he mustered up his courage, took 2 steps forward, and came into close contact with Huaxian, their noses almost touching. When Agana saw the scene, he clenched his fists and was very unwilling. But she did not make any noise because she respected the gods in her heart. Huaxian kissed her slowly, feeling the hot lips of this human. The piranha plant's body trembled violently. This feeling was unprecedented. The next moment, Huaxian embraced her in his arms, hugged her tightly, kissed her, and used his tongue to pry open the sharp teeth of the piranha plant and touch her tongue. The piranha plant licked it subconsciously, responded, and fell completely. I felt my body suddenly tense and trembled. And then I lost all my strength and collapsed completely in Huaxian's arms. Huaxian was extremely surprised when he saw this scene. He didn't expect that the cannibal girl would lose her strength after being intimate. In the end, he lost his sanity and took down the piranha plant. After the passionate lovemaking, the piranha plant nestled in his arms, its eyes full of affection. I'm going to eat you. The piranha plant suddenly said this. Why? Huaxian asked curiously. Because I love you. Only by eating you can we be together forever. Did your mother eat your father? Huaxian asked. No, the piranha plant suddenly realized. Yes, if the mother loved the father so much, why didn't she eat him? You rest here, I'm going to get busy. Huaxian stood up and walked towards Forrest Gump. Take me with you, or I will die, the piranha plant shouted. She still couldn't exert any strength in her body. Huaxian walked over and carried her on his back before walking to Igana. Led the way. Agum nodded her Mutonian said. Husband, you shouldn't have had sex with her. Hasn't this already happened? Don't worry, she won't eat anyone again as long as I'm here. I have never eaten anyone, said the piranha plant. Bullshit, how is it possible that you cannibals have never eaten humans? Forrest Gump didn't believe it at all. The piranha plant said firmly. I have never eaten humans. I am the only one in the entire cannibal tribe who does not eat meat. So let alone humans, I have never eaten even the corpses of animals. Huaxian said, I believe you have never eaten it, but I am also very curious. Why is your case special? Because I'm allergic to meat. No matter what kind of meat it is, I'll feel worse than death if I eat it. Who would believe what you said? Forrest Gump still didn't believe it. Soon, we passed through the sea of flowers and saw a cliff as smooth as a mirror in the distance. Below the cliff was a cave sloping downwards. Gump said excitedly. This is it, the paradise in my dream is behind this cave. Just walk through it, and you will get there. Huaxian asked. Is there any danger? Gump was stunned for a moment. And shook his head and said, I don't know, every time I enter that world, I wake up from the dream and don't know anything else. Piranha, why do you regard this place as a forbidden area? Huaxian asked. Rumor has it that there are demons here that can devour human souls. If you stay here, your soul will be devoured, so it has become a forbidden area. Mysterious but no useful information. In that case, let's go into the cave and take a look. Huaxian held one person in each hand and walked down. The deeper we walked along Tikan, the more noteworthy it was that the stone walls on both sides actually emitted a faint light, making the passage look strange but not dark. It gives people a creepy and terrifying feeling. Magnetic. A terrifying sound was heard, followed by a sound like dense footsteps. Chapter 130, Peerless Celestial Being. When he turned the corner, he saw a scene that scared Forrest Gump so much that he screamed. The piranha plant also looks very pale. The passage below was actually full of skeletons. But the key point was that they were still moving, as if they were alive. Igana's scream immediately attracted the attention of the skeletons. And all the skulls looked over. How could this happen? This scene didn't happen in my dream, Forrest Gump reacted and said in surprise. Tap. All these skeletons rushed towards them. Gump Nye and the piranha plant were so scared that they hid in Huaxian's arms. Huaxian's scalp also tingled, and he almost retreated while holding the two of them. The scene switched, and they found that the three of them were still standing on the Tikan. Looking down, it was just a Tikan that seemed to have no end. And there were no skeletons at all. Honey, what's going on? The Gump asked in shock. Huaxian said, it should be an illusion. Let's try again. Pulling the two of them forward. The scene just now appeared again, and this time the skeletons were right in front of them, with their bony hands grabbing towards them. He quickly pulled the two of them back. Is this a folded space? Huaxian was also shocked. The piranha said, aren't you a god, don't you know? Huaxian said, gods are not omnipotent, let us go back. I thought to myself, I'll wait until I'm stronger and hide. And come back when I'm stronger, there's no need to take risks now. Agamna said, honey, I feel like something is calling me from below. Huaxian smiled bitterly and said, it's no use summoning. You can see that we can't get down to this place at all. Come back next time. After saying that, he pulled the two of them back outside. Everything is still the same. Looking at the entire cliff that towers into the clouds, it seems to be separating something. Or, you guys wait here for me and I'll go down and take a look alone? Huaxian said. Honey, I'm scared. Forrest Gump glanced at the piranha plant subconsciously. A piranha plant rolled its eyes and said, I won't eat it even if you give it to me. I've said before that I only eat vegetarian food. TSK. I don't believe that you cannibals are vegetarians. Forrest Gump didn't care at all. If you don't believe me, forget it. Okay, stop arguing, wait here for me. I'll go down and take a look. After Huaxian finished speaking, he rushed down alone. He quickly entered the pile of skulls and rushed forward with an acceleration. Soon he got away from these skeleton men. Something like an underground palace appeared in front of us. Suddenly, the style of the painting changed everywhere. There were slogans criticizing the Communist Party and people were in high spirits. Who was getting married? In front, someone was carrying a sedan chair. And in the front were palace maids dressed in ancient costumes and holding red lanterns. However, they all lowered their heads, so their faces could not be seen clearly. They walked almost close to the passage, and there was only one passage leading towards Huaxian. Huaxian had no other place to hide except to turn around and leave. As for flying, Zhao happened to be right above his head. While Huaxian was hesitating about what to do, the sedan chair had already approached him. The next moment, after a puff of smoke, Hu Xian felt dizzy and didn't know what was going on. When he came to his senses, he found himself sitting in a sedan chair. To his surprise, his clothes had turned into a formal dress worn by an ancient groom. There is also a bride next to her, wearing a red dress, red shoes, and a red veil. The whole atmosphere was filled with weirdness. Hu Xian couldn't help but be curious. Turn on transparent eye. After seeing everything clearly in front of him, his body trembled violently. Because these people are all dry bones. Extremely weird. Hu Xian quickly put away his transparent eyes. Mind reading is performed. But there was no reaction, confirming that these guys were not human. Now Hu Xian feels that the world in Forrest Gump's dreams seems like an ancient tomb. Sir, are you willing to marry me? The bride next to him suddenly asked. Hu Xian said subconsciously, if you were a living person with flesh and blood, there would be no problem getting married, but your current situation. Sir, you haven't even lifted the veil to look at me. Why do you say I have no flesh and blood? My intuition tells me that you have no flesh and blood. My sixth sense has always been very effective. My lord. Maybe your intuition is wrong this time. Why don't you lift my veil and see if it's too late to say no? Not interested, Hu Xian refused directly. I asked you to lift my veil and take a look. The other party suddenly roared angrily. Hu Xian said with a wrong look on his face. You are so fierce, who would dare to marry you? After saying that, he pushed open Zhao Yi's door curtain and rushed out. Bang! But it was bounced back by a strange force. You can't escape. You can only stay. A cold voice came from the bride's mouth. Hu Xian was furious and wanted to see what the skull looked like under normal circumstances. He suddenly grabbed the veil and lifted it up. A peerless face came into Hu Xian's sight. I was stunned when I saw it. She is so beautiful, all the girls around him are beauties. But none of them can compare to her. How about it? Do you still think I'm not good enough? The other party asked with a smile. She was so beautiful that Hu Xian was stunned. Is there really such a beautiful girl in this world? Hu Xian muttered. I'm right in front of you, right? Don't you believe me? You can touch me? As he spoke, he grabbed Hu Xian's hand and placed it on his face. The real touch made Hu Xian's body tremble violently. Transparent eye opened. From a distance, it looked like a skeleton, but her facial features proved that she was very beautiful when she was alive. Closing his transparent eyes, the beauty in front of him was so beautiful that Hu Xian couldn't help but put his hands on her face. Then he moved his right hand down and placed it on her most important place. The touch was so satisfying that it made people sink into it. How about it? Do you want to enter the bridal chamber with me? The gentle voice was full of temptation. Moreover, the red dress slipped down, revealing her bra, which is something that modern people would not use at all. You must have had a very precious status in ancient times. Do you have any last words? Do you need my help? Hu Xian suddenly asked. The other party was stunned and asked in disbelief. What do you know? Hu Xian nodded and said, I know you are a pile of bones. But I cannot deny that you are as beautiful as a fairy. You are the most beautiful woman I have ever seen, no doubt about it. Then will you stay with me? I would rather take you away than stay with you. Take me away. Where to? She didn't seem to have thought about this question. The ends of the earth. It seems good, but you know. I am a dead person, how can you take me away? As long as you want. You should be able to follow me in any form, right? Any form? I understand, follow me. He grabbed Hu Xian's wrist and instantly disappeared into the sedan. Chapter 131, The Millennium Secret. When he appeared again, he had arrived at a tomb. In the middle was a huge coffin. Standing there alone. There are countless small coffins placed around the coffin. She took Hu Xian to the huge coffin and said, Open the coffin. Hu Xian nodded and pushed open the coffin curiously. The heavy coffin was no problem for him. When the coffin was opened, there was actually another coffin inside, and it was an ice crystal coffin. A transparent ice crystal coffin exuded a biting chill, and inside it lay a fairy with an unparalleled beauty. Upon closer inspection, she looked exactly like the woman next to her. This is my real body, it has always been inside and has never decayed. I can even feel that my body is still alive, it is just frozen. But I can't return to my body. Don't you want to take me away? Take my body away. Ding! Take away the remains and soul of the peerless goddess. Save the peerless goddess, complete the task, win the heart of the peerless goddess, and be rewarded with trillions of reinforcement points. Hu Xian was stunned. He didn't expect that he could activate the system task. What's more important, is that such a peerless beauty seems to be able to be saved. Okay, I'll take you away. Hu Xian agreed readily, not to mention saving her. The heart of the peerless goddess can be won. The trillion strengthening point reward alone is tempting enough. Hu Xian jumped up and landed on the huge coffin. He grabbed the ice crystal coffin inside with both hands. He felt a chill and exerted force suddenly. Get up for me. He forcibly lifted the ice crystal coffin out of the stone coffin. Lying on the ground, in the transparent ice crystal coffin, the peerless figure and face of the stunning goddess were even more clearly visible. You were about to take me away, but you know that if I leave here, the ice crystal coffin will melt without the protection of the ice crystal coffin. My body will rot. If you really like me, you should stay and be my husband. And stay here with me forever. No, I want to take you away and save you. Only in this way can we be together in the true sense. System, open up enough system space for me to place the ice crystal coffin. Ding, congratulations to the host. The system space has been successfully opened up. Huaxian held the ice crystal coffin, and with a thought, the ice crystal coffin disappeared from the spot. The soul of the goddess beside her was extremely shocked to find that she could not feel the existence of her body at all. Incredulously, he asked, "What did you do to my body? Where did it go?" Huaxian smiled confidently. "Don't worry, my dear lady. I have preserved your body, it will never decay. Just follow me with peace of mind. One day, I will resurrect you." "Are you serious?" "Of course I'm serious, otherwise how could you not feel the presence of your remains? Could it be that the fortune teller's divination is true? What's horoscope and what's fortune telling?" Huaxian looked curious. 1,000 years ago, a fortune teller told me that if I took good care of my body, someone would resurrect me 1,000 years later. Isn't this a curse on me to die? My father was so angry that he killed that fortune teller. No, not long after, I really fell ill and there was no medicine to cure me. I eventually died. My father finally believed what the fortune teller said, built a cemetery, and searched for an ice crystal coffin to preserve my body. Now you're here and say you can revive me. Doesn't this prove it's true? Are there really such powerful fortune tellers in the world? Huaxian was also very shocked. As for resurrecting the other party, the system has spoken, so it is definitely possible. That should be true. It's a pity that Mr. Bazi died unjustly. By the way, I took your body away. What are you going to do? The goddess took out a jade pendant and handed it to Huaxian, saying, "Wear this jade pendant on your body, and I will be inside it." Huaxian hung the jade pendant around his neck, and the goddess disappeared into a puff of smoke and went directly into the jade pendant. "Madam, are you there?" Huaxian asked curiously. "Yes. You can leave now." "No, ma'am, my savage wife said that she dreamed that this place led to a paradise." "Why is this a tomb?" "That's because her fate is similar to mine. I can construct a dream for her in the form of a dream. If there hadn't been this dream, she wouldn't have brought you here. How would I have met you? Wouldn't I have been imprisoned here for eternity?" "I see. What about those skeleton soldiers?" "The purpose of those living burials in this city is to protect me. Live burial is so cruel. In the slave society thousands of years ago, the lives of ordinary people were not worth mentioning at all. So we can only blame ourselves for being born in the wrong era. Let's get out of here quickly. I don't want to stay here for even a moment. I've been tired of it for 1,000 years." "Okay. Don't worry, you can go anywhere with my wife." Everything returned to normal and Huaxian walked outside. Along the way, you'll encounter skeleton soldiers, skeleton maids, and so on. They all lowered their heads, as if they were seeing something off respectfully. "How come they are so loyal to you even after their death?" "Ma'am?" Huaxian asked curiously. "Because their fates are controlled by me. And they were selected by my father from among millions of people. So even if they die and become ghosts, they can only obey me unconditionally. Now that I've taken you, my lady, away, where will they go?" "Have no idea. Wouldn't it be pitiful if they continue to exist as ghosts?" "So what, can you still save them?" "Just like the fortune teller. Many things are destined." After hearing this, Huaxian felt that it made sense and stopped worrying about it. Soon they came outside, and Forrest Gump and the piranha plant stood on each side, wary of each other. "What's wrong with you?" Huaxian asked curiously as he walked out. "She is my enemy. Her people have killed countless of my people. We are sworn enemies," Agana said angrily. "Hey, but you are all mine now. You are making so much noise and it embarrasses me," the piranha said. "I didn't make a scene. He was targeting me. Besides, hundreds of our people also died in your savage tribe. Did I say anything? You deserve to be killed. You invaded us while we were sleeping. TSK, the strong prey on the weak, you know, when you eat other creatures and hunt them? Why don't you feel it's cruel?" "Okay, stop arguing. I won't interfere with your racial issues, but if you still want to be my woman, you must abide by my rules, live in harmony, and not cause me any trouble." Hearing this, both of them fell silent. Roar. At this time, the sky was covered with dark clouds and a breath of death loomed. Chapter 132, Dragon Soul. An evil dragon formed by black smoke roared continuously, opened its mouth wide, and swooped down towards Huaxian and the others. A dangerous aura coming from the soulmate. Huaxian feel frightened. He rushed into the ancient tomb pulling the piranha plant and Forrest Gump. Seeing those skeleton soldiers, both of them were terrified. To their surprise, these skeleton soldiers did not dare to touch them. Huaxian was dissatisfied with the two men's slowness. So he carried them one in each hand and rushed inside. Just because the evil dragon that spoke in the black smoke had already chased in. "Madam, do you know what is going on?" Huaxian asked in surprise. The goddess said in horror, "I felt like he was coming for me. It seemed like I shouldn't exist and he wanted to destroy me." Huaxian heard the trembling in the goddess' voice. This thing was too powerful and too terrifying. Even he, who was not targeted, felt the threat of death, let alone the goddess' soul which was targeted. If you think about it carefully, the goddess' soul has existed for thousands of years before she was born, which may have violated the rules of the underworld. And she is not allowed to exist, so the evil dragon was sent down. Wherever the evil dragon passed, all the skeleton soldiers turned into ashes, just because their souls were devoured by the evil dragon. It is destruction, but also liberation. Soon they arrived at the location of the last coffin. And there was no other path to go. "System, what do I do?" Huaxian, who was at his wits' end, could only ask the system. "Ding, the stone coffin can hold the heavenly punishment dragon. Ma'am, please go in first." Huaxian took off the jade pendant and threw it into the coffin. "You two, hide as far away as possible." The faces of the piranha plant and Forrest Gump were pale and they were extremely scared. They did whatever Huaxian said and quickly hid far away. He clung to the wall, looking in horror at the evil dragon rushing towards him. Huaxian lay on the left side of the coffin. Sure enough, the evil dragon arrived and rushed directly into the coffin, rushing towards the jade pendant that contained the goddess' soul. Huaxian took enormous risk and grabbed the jade pendant and pulled it out. Clang! Quickly closed the coffin lid. Strangely enough, after the lid was closed, the arrogant and invincible evil dragon's soul suddenly became motionless. Wearing the jade pendant around his neck, Huaxian quickly asked, "Is the madam here?" A weak voice came, "Yes, luckily you caught the coffin and suppressed the evil dragon spirit, otherwise I would be dead." You can tell from the sound that she was very scared. "Don't be afraid, ma'am, everything is fine now." He walked over and pulled Agana, in the piranha plant out of the ancient tomb. There was no danger this time. After hesitating for a while, Huaxian went to find a huge stone to block the entrance of the tomb before leaving. "My two wives, you must not tell anyone what happened today. Clear?" Soon returned to the cannibal tribe. Countless cannibals surrounded them. But there were no more than 2,000 or 3,000 of them. It can be seen that although the cannibal tribe is tall and strong, their fertility seems to be not very good. How about the piranha plant? Nothing special, except that it is full of dangers. By the way, piranha plant, we just felt an extremely strong breath of destruction. "What happened?" asked the elder. "It was a demon, an extremely powerful demon. But my husband fought it off." "Your husband?" Muttering. Everyone's eyes fell on Huaxian. The piranha said, "Yes. I am already his woman, and I will leave here with my husband. This. Let her go, she doesn't eat meat, so she shouldn't belong here." A tall, burly middle-aged cannibal said, "Father." The piranha plant knelt before him. "Get up, you are God's woman from now on, remember, you must obey God's will. My daughter understands. God, I have a favor to ask of you." After all, it was the father-in-law who made the request. Huaxian asked, "What request?" "In that mountain, there came an extremely ferocious tiger that feeds on humans. He must provide him with a large amount of human food. Otherwise he will come and devour our people." "Okay. I understand, take me to kill this evil tiger." Upon hearing this, the cannibals were extremely excited. Hurry up and led the way for Huaxian. Thousands of people came to the forest in a mighty procession. This forest is different from the outside world. The trees and plants are even bigger and more lush. When you walk in, you get a very depressing feeling. Roar. After a while, a tiger roar was heard, and everyone became nervous. Their nerves were tense, and they tightly gripped their weapons. The next moment, with a loud bang, a black shadow fell from the sky and landed heavily on the ground. It was a tiger as big as an elephant, with a huge body, sharp teeth, and a bloody smell. The spiritual eyes looked at humans with a look of longing. Sure enough, this was a man-eating tiger. Whoosh! The vicious tiger pounced directly at the crowd. Huaxian disappeared from the spot in an instant and kicked like a vicious tiger. Bang! With a loud bang, the vicious tiger reacted quickly and stretched out its claws towards Huaxian. The huge force caused Huaxian to retreat again and again. The tiger also slid more than 10 meters away, leaving deep claw marks on the ground. Seeing this scene, the cannibals were even more terrified, thinking that the evil tiger was too powerful and even the gods were almost no match for it. Quickly retreat to a distance. Huaxian took action again. With a loud bang, it was still blocked by the evil tiger. His speed and strength are actually not lower than those of the 50 million man. It can be seen that this evil tiger is not an ordinary evil tiger at all. Angel wings. Huaxian summoned the angel wings he won in the lottery. Suddenly a pair of angel wings appeared on his back. With this pair of wings, Huaxian felt as light as a swallow. And his wings flapped gently. Whoosh! Disappeared from the spot in an instant. Meet the angel gods. Seeing the wings on Huaxian's back, the cannibals were so abused that they knelt down, and the power of faith was born. Bang! Under the terrifying speed brought by the angel wings, the evil tiger could no longer keep up with Huaxian's speed. It was kicked on the head and fell heavily to the ground. Huaxian launched a series of rapid attacks, and soon the evil tiger died. Huaxian took the huge corpse away. The corpse of such a vicious tiger was like a spider king and was definitely a treasure. At this moment, Huaxian finally understood why the primeval forest was listed as a forbidden area by the United States. Be it the Spider King or this terrifying tiger, neither is something that modern humans can deal with. We have to judge that the savages and cannibals can live in such an environment and still pass it down. Greetings to the angels and gods. The cannibals were still kneeling in worship after being tortured. Roar. In the distance, from the direction of the forbidden area, the roar of the evil dragon's soul was heard. Then the sky became cloudy and dark. A destructive aura carrying the power to destroy the world spread in all directions. It was like the end of the world, and every living thing was in panic. Chapter 133, Acquisition completed. The goddess in the jade pendant said, "It's the evil dragon spirit. If he comes out, he won't let me go." Her voice was trembling so badly that it was obvious that she didn't want to die. Huaxian said solemnly, "Don't be afraid, I'm here, and I won't let anything happen to you." The angel flapped its wings and flew towards the forbidden area. In the darkness, he is a ray of light in the darkness, illuminating the fear in everyone's hearts and making them no longer so afraid. It's the gods. Lord God has taken action. We will be fine. Over at the savage tribe, more than 10,000 savages knelt down in unison and were tortured terribly. The power of faith surged towards Huaxian like a river. Huaxian discovered that the power of faith could be used directly and added to his angel wings. Gao Mingxi's superpowers are activated. It was also a reward from a lottery and has never been used. Now, it seems that the light-related superpowers will finally be useful in dealing with dark creatures. Transparent eyes. His eyes contained light and power. And he could see through the essence of the evil dragon's soul. It was actually composed of countless wrong souls. Strange and powerful. Roar. The evil dragon's soul seemed to feel threatened and rushed towards Huaxian. Opened its huge mouth and bit him. A strong sense of crisis from the soul made Huaxian dare not be careless. His light-type superpowers exploded to the extreme. He did not care about the power of faith that could be exchanged for strengthening points. And all of it was added to the power of light. Boom! Just like the sun exploding in the darkness, the super-powerful force of light dispels the darkness, illuminates the world, and brings comfort and peace of mind to all living beings. Roar! The evil dragon's soul let out a painful howl, which showed that the power of light had a strong effect on it. Roaring, the evil dragon's soul actually began to retreat. Now that he has an absolute advantage, Huaxian is not willing to let the other party go. You know, this thing almost took his goddess life before. And he will never let it go. Who knows if someone will come back to trouble him later. In order to solve the trouble permanently, Huaxian rushed forward. With the blessing of angel wings, it was as fast as light, bursting out with the power of light, at all its strength, and rushed directly into the evil dragon's body that was filled with smoke. The miserable screams of the evil dragon spirit echoed throughout the world. The breath of destruction became weaker and weaker. After 3 hours, the evil dragon's soul completely dissipated. The sky became bright again, and everything returned to normal. If Huaxian hadn't been still flying in the sky, people would have thought that what happened just now was an illusion. Ding! Congratulations to the host, you have saved billions of souls and received a reward of 1 billion enhancement points. 1 billion. Huaxian is still feeling distressed, having wasted millions of faith power? I didn't expect the system to be so generous. It actually directly awarded 1 billion enhancement points. Wouldn't that mean it would take off immediately? Just one feeling. Right. Meet the gods. Meet the gods. No matter whether they were savages or cannibals, they all knelt down before Huaxian. The evil disasters that destroyed the world were easily eliminated. No one could do it except God. Huaxian returned to the ground, and all the savages and cannibals gathered around him. Soon the two sides met, both centered on Huaxian, and their hatred was temporarily put aside. Both of your tribes regard me as a god? Huaxian asked. Meet the gods. Both tribes were tortured to the point of kneeling down. Since you all worship me as a god, then let go of your past grudges. Turn hostility into friendship and be good neighbors from now on. The cannibalistic customs must also be changed, whether it is eating outsiders or eating your own people. It is not a good thing. I will follow the command of the Lord God. What about you? Do you have any problems? Huaxian asked the barbarian tribe. Follow the arrangements of God. With the help of Huaxian, the two tribes restored peace. Both tribes built statues for him and used them to worship him. Ding, the savage tribe has completed building the statue for the host. And the acquisition of the savage tribe has been completed. Is this the completion of the acquisition? Huaxian was very surprised. Immediately, a section of the savage tribe appeared in the system map. Almost 2/3 of the original forest appears in the plate. The remaining 1/3 is on the cannibal side. It is speculated that once the cannibal statue is built, the huge plan to acquire the virgin forest will be completed. Huaxian also understood that the so-called acquisition was to gain the recognition of the local natives. In the outside world, if money is spent on the acquisition, everyone knows that it was acquired by so-and-so, and the acquisition is considered completed. In the primeval forest, being regarded as a god by the two natives means he is their master. So the acquisition is naturally completed. This feels really good. Ding, congratulations to the host, you have completed the task of spending 1M within 48 hours and received a primary strengthening pills as a reward. Ding, new task, complete the task of spending 3M within 48 hours. Failure of the task means permanent disability. Completing the task will reward you with two primary strengthening pills. People feel refreshed when good things happen to them. And Huaxian was in a very good mood. Huaxian was not in a hurry to leave. He took the 12 top beauties with him and wandered in the primeval forest. During this period, Sophia also successfully won over Huaxian and became a member of the big family, which made her very happy. Considering her age of over 40, this was simply a blessing from God to her, so she cherished it very much. Huaxian showed off his cooking skills and impressed everyone. The piranha plant, a cannibal that does not eat meat, is no longer allergic to meat thanks to Huaxian's cooking skills. He felt the deliciousness of meat for the first time and was so overjoyed that he rewarded Huaxian with a battle of 300 rounds. Ding, the cannibals have completed building the statue for the host, and the acquisition of the cannibal tribe has been completed. As the two most powerful races in the primeval forest were acquired, the primeval forest acquisition plan was perfectly completed. Agana, piranha, go back and say goodbye, we are ready to leave the primeval forest. Huaxian arranged. The two people's originally good mood suddenly sank. After all, they were going to be far away from their hometown where they were born and raised, and they were more or less reluctant to leave. But I still want to say goodbye reluctantly. Soon, people from the savage tribe and the cannibal tribe arrived. Men, women, old and young, all came to bid farewell sincerely. Everyone live in harmony. If there is anything, pray in front of the statue and I will be able to sense it. Hearing this, the two tribes, who were extremely reluctant to leave, became happy. I thought the statue was not built in vain. I also thought about building a few more statues to facilitate the worship of the gods. Farewell, God. Huaxian led everyone out of the primeval forest tribe. Both the piranha plant and Agana put on various clothes and were no longer topless. Returning to the city became unusually easy. I didn't miss any good things I encountered along the way. It was just a trip, 12 women, thinking about what to eat all day long. Anyway, they have a chef, and they enjoy this kind of life very much. 7 days later, as soon as they walked out of the primeval forest, several men and women in suits found them. Otilia said nervously, "It's someone from the Special Department." Chapter 134. Special Department. Otilia, have you completely betrayed the United States? One of them asked coldly. Otilia didn't speak. Have you agreed? Another person also spoke coldly. Huaxian asked in a cold voice. Are you blocking our way just to blame my wife? Are you Huaxian, a dragon countryman who's been frantically acquiring our American companies? I heard you're very capable. Would you dare to compete with me? The guy in the lead said. Does he dare? All the people of Long Country are cowards. Another person provoked. Whoosh. Huaxian didn't waste any time talking to them and disappeared instantly. The next moment, with the sounds of bangs, all 5 people fell to the ground. The mildest ones had several broken ribs and were wailing on the ground, while the worst ones fainted. This scene scared everyone nearby. How dare you, trash like you, belittle me? Huaxian's voice became increasingly cold. At this time, an old white man came out. Ah. Looking at Huaxian, he clapped his hands. Then he said, the strength you just showed is at least at the level of a 5th level genetic warrior. It's amazing, our boss wants to meet you. Not interested. Huaxian refused directly. If you go and the talks go well, perhaps you can continue to acquire our United States. The other party seemed to see through Huaxian's purpose. Huaxian nodded and said, "Lead the way. Please." Soon, they arrived in front of a car. "I'm afraid one car is not enough," Huaxian said, looking at his woman. "You want to take them with you too? Why, am I not qualified as a woman? Wise, show them." Whoosh. Balia disappeared instantly. The next moment, click. A landscape tree on the street broke with a sound. At this speed and strength, they are at least third-level genetic warriors. The old man was shocked. Bang! Stephen also demonstrated his strength. And a huge rock shattered. "Are you also powerful?" A white old man asked in surprise. Huaxian said calmly, "How can my woman be an ordinary person?" The old man stared at him for a while, nodded and said, "I will contact the helicopter immediately, and we will go directly to the headquarters." The old man walked aside, made a phone call, and talked for a long time. Then he came back and said, "In about 2 hours, the special plane will come to pick us up. Now, you can have a drink at the tavern in town. Honey, let's go to the river. I saw a lot of fish," Amaya said. Yes, husband, let's go fishing." Xian and the others rushed to the river without caring whether Huaxintuang agreed or not. Huaxian smiled bitterly and said, "Let's just go by the river. It will be convenient when the plane arrives." "That's fine." The old man arranged for other people to deal with those who were beaten by Huaxian, and then followed Huaxian to the river, looking at Valio and others catching fish in the river. The old man said enviously, "I really envy your strong body. You can handle so many women with ease." I thought, if only I were strong enough. Now that I'm older, I can only look at these beautiful girls. Huaxian smiled and said, "It's not bad as long as we practice more. We can handle more." I thought, if I don't spend some time while I'm still young, I'll have no chance when I get older. "Honey, the fish is here. The rest is up to you." Polly came to Huaxian with a big fish in one hand and said. The perfect figure made the old people around swallow their saliva. When Polly put down the fish and walked away, she couldn't help but say, "I really envy your good fortune. These girls have better figures than each other." "Oh, right, those two. If I'm not mistaken, one is a savage and the other is a ferocious cannibal. Only cannibals have legs that are nearly 2 meters long." Good vision. They are indeed from the tribe of savages and cannibals. I don't find it strange that you were able to capture the women of the savage tribe. But the cannibals are behind the savage tribe and they mainly eat people. It's really scary that you tamed their women and made them your wives. Because I am their god now. If I want a woman, all I need is a word. Huaxian did not hide it. "God, you mean, you have conquered the cannibals and savages?" The old man was extremely shocked. "You know, in order to subdue them, the United States not only sent troops but also sent their special departments. But they all returned empty-handed. Just because there are extremely terrifying primitive creatures in the primeval forest. Any one of them could destroy the world. Otherwise the United States would not have designated the primeval forest as a restricted area." Then Huaxian started to prepare the food, and the aroma spread. The old white man ruled a little. He said in disbelief, "Can a fish produce such a delicious aroma?" Otilia came over holding a big fish and said, "That depends on who cooked it. Our husband cooked it. So even if it's just one, it's still the most delicious." The old man looked at Otilia and said, "Is this the reason why you stayed with him and didn't contact the organization?" "That's part of the reason, but more importantly, I'm his woman now. And I have to follow my husband, so I have no choice but to leave the organization. Also, let me tell you a secret. Our husband is more powerful than you can imagine. Many prehistoric creatures in the primeval forest were extremely powerful, but they all died at the hands of our husband." Hearing this, the old man was stunned. The shock he felt was indescribable. He had also gone deep into the primeval forest in the past. Only by experiencing it could one know how powerful those creatures are. It is not afraid of any hot weapons at all, and is extremely fast. It is simply a nightmare for mankind. Fortunately, for some unknown reason, they seem unable to leave this forest, otherwise the United States would have ceased to exist long ago. And that horrific creature was easily killed by the human in front of him. That's crazy. Since the cannibals and savages were following Huaxian, the old man did not doubt Otilia's words. "Wives, stop catching fish and come and eat first." Huaxian shouted loudly after grilling the fish. "It's time for dinner." The piranha plant and forest gum pushed to the front. When catching a big fish, the piranha plant's teeth give it an innate advantage and it can eat the fish very quickly. When the white old man saw the teeth of the piranha plant, he was also extremely surprised and completely confirmed that the piranha plant was a cannibal. Huaxian handed over a grilled fish and asked, "Would you like to try it?" The old man was not polite at all when he smelled the fragrance. His saliva was all over the floor. After taking a bite, my taste buds exploded. "Oh my god, how did you manage to cook a fish so delicious?" This is the first time in my life that I have eaten such delicious food. Then he started to eat voraciously. After a meal, the old white man said enviously, "If I were a woman, I would marry you." Chapter 135, Shocked Human Leaders. A large military transport helicopter flew over from a distance. It attracted a lot of people to watch. It's a military helicopter attack. What are they doing here? I don't dare fly into the primeval forest. I'll get lost. I guess I'll just patrol the area. Soon, the helicopter landed by the river. A 3-star admiral walked down the airfield, walked quickly up to the old man, and saluted respectfully. The old man also returned a military salute. Then he said to Huaxian, "Let's go. Wise, get on the plane. Let's go." Everyone followed Huaxian onto the plane. The general asked the old man speechless lie, "Aren't we only taking that dragon countryman with us? What are we going to do with these women?" The old man said seriously, "Don't look down on these women, they are at least comparable to level 3 gene warriors." "What, are they all genetic warriors who have successfully undergone genetic experiments?" the general asked in shock. "No, except for Otilia, who is a practitioner of ancient martial arts in her department. Everyone else has become so powerful by following this dragon country talent." "You became so powerful by following the people of Dragon Country. Doesn't that mean that this person of Dragon Country has mastered the method to make people stronger?" The general was very shocked. The old man said, "I don't know. We need to investigate to find out whether their strength comes from practicing ancient martial arts or from taking genetic drugs. Also, this dragon countryman conquered the wild tribes and cannibals in the primeval forest, and even defeated prehistoric creatures. He is extremely powerful. Inform the headquarters that no one is allowed to disrespect him." "Hey, what are you talking about? Do you still want to hurry up?" Xiayine asked dissatisfiedly. The two of them then smiled brightly and quickly boarded the plane. A base in the eastern United States. Huaxian and his group were transported directly here. Looking out the window, a sand dune split open to reveal a huge helicopter pad. The plane landed steadily and the sand dunes closed. "Mr. Hu, please get off the plane," the old man said respectfully. "The strong are respected, and as a strong person, you understand the terror of the strong." Huaxian took the lead in getting off the plane. A group of women surrounded him, looking around curiously. A big door opened in front. When I walked over, I found that there was a huge elevator. The elevator went down about 50 meters. After opening the door, there is another huge platform where people fully armed with high-tech weapons are waiting for battle. "Mr. Hu, the rules need to be checked first." Huaxian didn't care. He walked over, first checked it manually, and then walked into a mechanical equipment. After startup, everyone saw a string of data rising rapidly on the screen. When the string of data exceeded 1 million, the people at the scene, a group of senior executives staring at the big screen in a huge surveillance camera, who came from various countries, were all stunned. However, this was just the beginning. Their expressions and mentality had reached their limits as the data on the screen continued to climb. "Oh my god, 2 million! How can one person possess 2 million terrifying powers?" According to the estimated gene level, he is already comparable to a level 6 gene warrior, right? No, his strength is still soaring, and it seems that he is still a long way from the end. Could he be a level 7 gene warrior? A person who said this was frightened at first. It's so terrifying. A person like this could destroy their entire base by himself. At this time, a middle-aged man said with regret, "It's a pity that he is a dragon. It would be much better if we were Americans. In the current situation, it doesn't matter which country he is from. What matters is that he is from Earth. The door to the genetically balanced world is becoming increasingly unstable. If the strong people from the genetic world come here, it will be a disaster for us, and he is the only one who can lead us to deal with the genetic world. No, I think he should go to the genetic world and stop them from killing him. Only in this way can he save the world." Broken 5 million. He can definitely break 10 million, and they are at least level 7 gene warriors. Everyone was shocked and excited. It's over 10 million. And it hasn't stopped yet. No one is so excited anymore. Everyone is numb. 20 million. Is it going to break 100 million? That's an 8th level genetic warrior, like a god. I wonder if he is really from our Earth. Someone said. A senior executive from Longguo said. "Don't doubt it, he is a native of Longguo. He acquired our Longguo Sucheng and built it into a city of science and technology. He has been making a lot of acquisitions in the United States recently. But it be that he wants to build the entire United States? I'm curious, where does his money come from? We have been investigating, and the sources of his money are all very legitimate. Who knows? Only he knows everything clearly. 30 million. Looking at the data that is still changing, everyone has gone from being numb to becoming accustomed to it. I received a notification earlier that he had conquered the wild tribes and cannibals in the primeval forest and strangled the ancient Makani head creature. I didn't believe it at first, but now I do. He is still young. Maybe less than 20 years old, but he has such terrifying genetic power. Even in that genetic world, he is a super genius, right? I seriously doubt that he is someone who came from the genetic world. Impossible. If he was from the gene world, he would have helped the people of the gene world to stabilize the portal long ago. That's true. Maybe he has a big secret. 40 million. Isn't he going to stop? Is he really going to break 100 million? Maybe he is the savior. Whenever there is a disaster, a savior will be born, and he should be the one. Maybe. I hope he has no ill will towards us humans. 50 million. It's slowed down. 50 million should be his limit. Stop. A mid-level 7th level gene warrior. A very terrifying existence. Huaxian walked out of the testing room. You also have to line up for the test, the old man said to Valio and the others. Otilia was the first to go in. Start testing. The properties came out soon. 10,800. Equivalent to the beginner level of a 4th level genetic warrior. Next Nidia. 10,007, which is equivalent to the initial stage of the 4th level gene warrior. But it be that every one of them is comparable to a level for gene warrior? Someone asked in shock. You'll know after watching the test. Thalia 11,000, beginner level for gene warrior. Stephen 11,000, beginner level for gene warrior. The last one is Polly 12,000, a beginner level for genetic warrior. They are all level for gene warriors. This is too scary. I seriously suspect that this Huaxian is from the gene world and has drugs that can enhance other people's genes. Just ask and you'll know. After one of them finished speaking, he picked up the intercom and said, bring them to the central conference room. Chapter 136, Ancient Martial Arts Alliance. Medium conference room. When Huaxian arrived, no one dared to sit down, and everyone looked at him with respect. A mid-level 7th level gene warrior, so powerful. Perhaps only the top leaders of the Ancient Martial Arts Alliance and the Immortal Cultivation Alliance are capable of fighting against it. Unfortunately, the people in these two alliances are too selfish. They focus on themselves in everything they do and don't care about the life and death of mankind at all. Seeing people from various countries, Huaxian was also a little surprised. What are you doing, an alliance? The leader was an American. He said, yes, we are the Human Security Alliance. Human Security Alliance? Then what do you want me to do? Huaxian asked curiously. You are also a member of our human race recently. Some situations have occurred on the earth and we hope you can come forward to solve them, said a man from a big country. Huaxian shook his head and said, no, I still have to acquire the United States before the acquisition. I will not do anything else. Senior US officials all frowned. One person asked dissatisfied Lai, can we know why you insist on acquiring our United States? Huaxian nodded and said, sure. I just think the United States is too rampant. It calls itself the world's police and does evil everywhere. So I want to buy him and educate him well. Hearing this, people from all over the world tried to hold back their laughter. The expressions of the top US officials were extremely ugly. At this time, a 5-star general rushed in regardless of everyone's strange looks. He shouted, someone from the Ancient Martial Alliance has come. He told me that it's not impossible for them to help deal with the invasion of the gene world. But they have conditions. What conditions? Asked a senior executive. They want our countries to hand over half of their resources to them. What? This is impossible, they are simply robbing. What's going on in the genetic world? Huaxian asked. The gene world is a balanced world similar to Earth. They have been eyeing us for a long time, but they couldn't come over because the space gate was unstable. But recently the space gate has become more and more stable. They are all people who have activated the gene to leave harm. If they really come over, I'm afraid we will all become slaves. That's right, we're looking for you because we want you to help us deal with it. So, the genetic world is the public enemy of mankind? Yes, he is the public enemy of all mankind. That's why we have the Human Security Alliance. If that's the case, the Ancient Martial Arts Alliance is also from Earth. Right? Why are they so shameless? Huaxian said angrily. The top leaders all laughed bitterly. The people from the Ancient Martial Arts Alliance and the Immortal Cultivation Alliance are all a bunch of lunatics who pursue immortality. Their goal is to become powerful and live forever. They don't care about the lives of ordinary people at all. Is that so? Then I'll take some time to meet these hypocritical guys, Huaxian said calmly. After hearing this, no one doubted it. Simply because the 50 million strength test was too terrifying. A high-ranking official from the Dragon Nation said, it would be good if you could teach those guys a lesson, lest they forget their human identity. But the most important thing right now is to resolve the problem of the invasion of the gene world. You want me to solve it? Huaxian asked. A person from an Arab country said. Besides you, only the top leaders of the Ancient Martial Arts Alliance and the Immortal Cultivation Alliance know you. But as you can see, they don't care about the lives of ordinary people like us. So if I don't care, I'll be no different from them, right? Everyone was silent. Huaxian thought for a moment and said, it's not impossible for me to solve it, but I have a small condition. Should we acquire the United States? A person from one country blurted out. Huaxian smiled and said, smart, as long as you convince the United States to sell it to me, I will agree to let you go to that genetic world and solve the invasion problem. Hearing this, everyone's eyes fell on the US senior officials. We need time to discuss. How about this? I'll give you an answer the day after tomorrow at the latest, said a senior US official. Okay, no problem, Huaxian agreed immediately. By the way, the people from the Ancient Martial Arts Alliance are here, right? I'll go and see what's so special about them, Huaxian said. Please. A group of senior executives were extremely enthusiastic. The general said. The other party was very arrogant. They said they would only give us 10 minutes to consider. Now 7 minutes have passed. Arrogant, I want to see if he has the strength to be arrogant. Led the way, Huaxian said coldly. What Ancient Martial Arts Alliance? The Earth is in danger if you don't come forward to help. You are the Garbage Alliance. Since it was a garbage alliance, he would never give them any good looks. The general led the way and soon arrived at a high-end VIP reception room. There in there, the general said. Huaxian pushed the door and walked in. Immediately a girl asked, you are such a shitty human alliance. Have you considered the conditions we proposed? Huaxian walked in and saw a young man with his feet on the desk, tugging the girls on his left and right, looking extremely comfortable. When the young man saw Huaxian and the others following in behind Huaxian, his eyes lit up and he let out a light exclamation. Then he let go of the two girls and walked over and said, not bad, you are sensible enough to find a bunch of beauties to please me. The first one walked up to the piranha plant, just because her long legs were so tempting. Reach out and touch the face that looks like a carnivorous plant. Kill him, Huaxian said calmly. The young man was stunned and didn't understand what these two words meant. The piranha plant had already made its move, instantly approaching the young man. Its sharp nails were its best weapon, and it pierced the young man's neck. With one kick, the young man's body flew out, hit the wall and rolled to the ground. Still struggling, blood was flowing everywhere, and the young man felt his life slipping away. He was filled with mixed emotions of fear, anger, and regret. The senior members of the Human Alliance who were not outside were all shocked by this scene. As for the two girls, they were shaking with fear. They were horrified to the extreme as they watched Huaxian come back and stick toilet paper into their own carnivorous plants. Huaxian said calmly, what a bunch of crap, Ancient Martial Arts Alliance. I have to say, the first time we met, you left a very bad impression on me. After muttering, he said to the two girls, go back and tell the people in your alliance that I, Huaxian, a dragon countryman, will visit the Ancient Martial Alliance in the next few days. Tell them how to calm my anger, otherwise he will end up like this. Why don't you take the body and get out? The two girls had never experienced such a scene before. As members of the Ancient Martial Arts Alliance, they always acted superior wherever they went. But today they suffered a great loss. They carried the young man's body away trembling. Chapter 137, Instant Kill. The top leaders of the Human Security Alliance were also frightened. Before I met Huaxian, I thought he was easy to talk to, so our previous communications were quite casual. Now that they had witnessed Huaxian's coldness and ruthlessness, they were so scared that they broke out in cold sweats. After a careful discussion, they were relieved to find that they had not offended anyone. Please arrange a place for us to rest. I will wait for the response from the top leaders of the United States. Also, if anyone from the Ancient Martial Arts Alliance comes to visit, just notify me directly. Huaxian arranged. Mr. Hu, please. The best lounge was immediately arranged for Huaxian and others. Without outsiders, Huaxian gathered them all and said, you all know about the crisis in the Ancient Martial Arts Alliance in the genetic world. In order for everyone to better survive the crisis, I decided to improve the efficiency of the dual cultivation method. Although it has serious side effects for me, it can quickly improve your combat power. So, from now on, you line up to practice dual cultivation with me. The word side effects is on everyone's mind. Huaxian was the first to speak up. Abi, since it has side effects on you, I think we should not practice dual cultivation. Yes, husband, I don't want to do anything that will hurt you. Abi, we absolutely cannot let you get hurt for our own sake. Everyone expressed that they absolutely did not want to hurt Huaxian because of themselves. When Huaxian heard this, he knew that it was worth it to feel sorry for them, and said with emotion, don't worry, the damage to me is limited, And I'm strong enough to recover soon, so you don't have to worry. Only when you are strong enough can you help me better. So Ina, you start. Let's start dual cultivation. Husband. Xia Yine was still a little reluctant. Don't say anything. I know what's going on, don't worry. I'll be fine, be obedient. Ina, you go first. Having said that, everyone else left. Except Xia Yine. Hubby, as long as it causes you great harm, you must stop immediately. I will never let you get hurt for my own sake. I know, my dear. The system sets for attributes in 1 hour. Each strengthening to 5 million programs. Ding. Congratulations to the host, the 4 attribute 5 million per hour enhancement program has been set successfully, consuming 20 million enhancement points each time. As the dual cultivation began, Xia Yine clearly felt the crazy improvement in her physical attributes, which made her feel comfortable but also extremely shocked. The dual cultivation was completed in 1 hour. Xia Yine's 4 attributes all reached over 5 million. Next value. Then there was Stephen. After more than a day. Finally, Emily, Polly, Julian, Otilia, Agana, Agnes, Sophia, a piranha plant and other 12 peoples for attributes exceeded 5 million, reaching the middle level of the 6th level genetic warriors. Thank you, husband. A group of people were extremely grateful to Hu Xin, completely devoted to him, and regarded his life as more important than their own. Just because this man is worth their lives to cherish. Mr. Hu, people from the Ancient Martial Arts Alliance are here. An old man has come. He flew here directly. He is very strong. At least a level 6 genetic warrior, said a senior executive. He was not panicked because he knew that Hu Xin was a terrifying mid-level 7th level genetic warrior. Are you here for revenge? Then go and meet them. It will be a good opportunity to practice your skills. Everyone followed Hu Xin out of the base. That's right. This time, the base didn't let anyone in. After all, Hu Xin had a falling out with the other party, and they were on Hu Xin's side. So they also had a falling out with the other party. When the old man saw Hu Xin coming out, he recognized him at a glance. Beside him, the 2 girls were the same girls that the young man brought with him. The old man stared at Hu Xin and asked murderously, "You are the ones who killed my grandson?" As a cannibal. The piranha plant is a fighting nation. It walked out with long legs and said, "I killed your useless grandson." Now that her entity has exploded, she is extremely eager to fight. So admitted without hesitation. "You are a cannibal." When he said the last 3 words, the other party was obviously surprised. That's right. The man-eating plant old man, if you don't want to die, get out of here. If not, come and die. Very good, you are a cannibal. Right, you killed my grandson. I will remember you. Just wait for your clan to be exterminated. The old man threatened murderously. You're the one who's going to destroy the whole clan? Old man, today is your end. Die. The piranha plant took the initiative to attack, and exploded with a power of 5 million, which was extremely terrifying. The leaders of the Human Alliance were extremely shocked when they saw this scene. Someone asked, didn't she only reach the beginning of the 4th level Gene Warrior in the previous deaths? Why does she seem to be a 6th level Gene Warrior now? He must be hiding his strength. How terrifying. If they are hiding their strength, what about him? All the senior executives' eyes fell on Hu Xin. Someone said, I suspect that he is at least a level 8 Gene Warrior. No wonder he is so confident. Right, with such a strong man in charge, our Human Security Alliance will have enough confidence to face all dangers. We are dragon people. We are responsible and have a sense of responsibility. Don't worry, we will definitely do what we say. Boom. The piranha plant quickly approached its opponent and kicked him, shocking the old man to his core. He discovered that his strength was actually inferior to that of this girl. With a hasty punch, his arm was broken and his body was sent flying. The next moment, the carnivorous plant came at him with lightning speed, not giving him any chance to beg for mercy. Its sharp claws were like sharp blades. Dew. It pierced his heart fiercely. His heart was bleeding and blood gushed out of his mouth, nose, and other orifices. In the last moments of his life, he stared at the carnivorous plant in disbelief. He never dreamed that he would die at the hands of a little girl. It's so depressing to think that I am comparable to a level 6 genetic warrior, but I am treated so cowardly. Puff. He spat out a mouthful of blood, feeling extremely unwilling. Even when he died, his eyes were wide open. He truly died with his eyes open. The 2 girls from the Ancient Martial Arts Alliance had pale faces, without a trace of blood, and were in extreme despair. They thought that with a strong man like the old man dispatched, it would be no problem to take revenge, or even destroy the base of the Human Security Alliance. Unexpectedly, the old man died just like his grandson without any chance to fight back. Looking at Hu Xin and the others, I couldn't understand who they were and why they were so terrifying. You know, they are members of the Ancient Martial Arts Alliance. A powerful force passed down from ancient times. Show could they become so vulnerable now? Huaxian said to them again, take the body back and tell the leaders of your ancient martial alliance that there is no need to rush over. We will descend on your ancient martial alliance in 2 days. Chapter 138, Many Strong People. Ding, congratulations to the host for spending 3 MUSD within 48 hours and receiving the primary enhancement pills as a reward. Ding, new mission. Complete the consumption of 5 MUSD within 60 hours. If the mission fails, the limbs will be permanently paralyzed. If the mission is completed, you will receive a primary strengthening pill as a reward. This is Ottilia finding Huaxian. Hubby, please stop transferring money to me. I am now sincerely willing to follow you and be your wife. Dang, the transaction with Ottilia is terminated. Ottilia can no longer be used as a consumer. The system's prompt left Huaxian speechless if he couldn't transfer money. And didn't he have to spend the money himself? That's 5M. Hubby, what's wrong with you? Don't be angry, I just wanted to reject you at first. So he rushed out of the 100 trillion per hour demand. Now I just want to be my woman, so I don't need money. Okay, I get it, this is a good thing. Mr. Hu, we finally found you. A senior US official said breathlessly. Why are you looking for me? Could it be that the people from the Ancient Martial Arts Alliance have come to visit us again? No, it's not about this matter, but about your acquisition of the United States. After we discussed it, it passed Congress and agreed to sell the United States to you. Really? Huaxian was overjoyed. He had long been envious of the incredible gift package that would be given as a reward after the successful acquisition of the United States. Of course it's true, but I also have a few small requests. What's your request? Tell me now. First, the United States only sells you the right to use it for 3 years. After 3 years, the United States is still the United States. Secondly, after you buy the United States, you must not do anything that is sorry for the United States and its people. Thirdly, you must not use the United States to do things that harm the world. And finally, you must not allow the United States to have any relationship with Long Guo. As long as you agree to these conditions, you can purchase the right to use the United States for 3 years. Okay, I promise. Name your price. We decided at the meeting that the minimum is US $15 million. Okay, I'll transfer 5 USD to you now. Give me your account number. The other party was also straightforward and directly took out the US Treasury account. Huaxian transferred the money immediately. Ding, congratulations to the host. Within 10 minutes, you have completed the consumption of 5 MUSD. If you exceed the task quota, you will be rewarded with an intermediate strengthening pill. Ding, new mission. Complete it within 60 hours and spend 8 MUSD. If you fail the mission, your limbs will be permanently disabled. If you complete the mission, you will receive a primary strengthening pill as a reward. Huaxian transferred the money immediately. Ding, congratulations to the host. You have completed the consumption of 8 MUSD within 10 seconds. And have obtained the super mission completion reward in 1.0 primary strengthening pills. Ding, new mission. Complete it within 30 minutes and spend 10 MUSD if the mission fails. The host will be killed if the mission is completed. You will be rewarded with 100 primary strengthening pills. The scope of this task shot to Huaxian. Spending $10 in 30 minutes is scary. I also understand that the speed of spending $8 million is too fast. But the reward of 1,000 primary strengthening pills is very tempting. Huaxian quickly installed it to complete the task of acquiring the United States. Ding, congratulations to the host, you have completed the task of acquiring the United States and received a great gift package reward. Looking at the incredible gift package in his backpack, Huaxian was extremely excited. He was very expectant and curious. What treasures were in the incredible gift package? System, open the heaven-defying gift package. Ding. Congratulations to the host, you have opened the heaven-defying gift package. And received the primary all-around combat skill reward. 10,000 primary strengthening pills reward, and a chance to revive from the dead. Looking at the reward, Huaxian was stunned with shock. Especially the all-round fighting skills, even if they were only elementary, made his understanding of fighting rise to countless levels. He felt that he was just a reckless man with brute force and no ability to fight. Now that he has acquired basic all-round combat skills, he has become a master. 10,000 primary strengthening pills are equivalent to a reward of 5 billion strengthening points. The most precious thing is naturally the chance to come back from the dead, which is equivalent to having an extra life. So true. I didn't expect that acquiring the United States would bring such terrible benefits. System, open all the primary strengthening pills for me. Ding, congratulations to the host, you have opened 11,005 strengthening pills and obtained 5,025 billion strengthening points. The current remaining strengthening points are 6. 335,497,790 points. With more than 6 billion strengthening pills, Huaxian felt extremely wealthy and more energetic. There is no rush to transfer the remaining ATEM. After all, there are still more than 20 minutes left. Mr. Hu, we have also sold the United States to you. Now you should be ready to solve the crisis in the genetic world. Right? Said the senior American official. Okay, I know. Let me go to the Ancient Martial Arts Alliance and teach them a lesson. So that they won't bully you after I leave. What do you think? This is necessary, by the way. Let's also teach the people in the Immortal Cultivation Alliance a lesson. These people take themselves too seriously, the US senior official suggested. Okay, then I will go to the Ancient Martial Arts Alliance. Please find someone to lead the way for me, Huaxian said. Hubby, there's no need to find someone to lead the way. I can find the Ancient Martial Arts Alliance, Ottilia said. Well, let's set off for the Ancient Martial Arts Alliance now. A group of 13 people left the Alliance base. Led by Ottilia, they headed in the direction of the Ancient Martial Arts Alliance. They all have the strength of intermediate level 6 gene warriors and can fly through the air with pure strength. They are in a desert, so everyone is flying to get going. Everyone who is flying for the first time is extremely curious. Let's have a competition to see who can fly faster. Polly said. Okay. Xiayane was the first to agree. Charge, Value and the others rushed out directly. Wow, you guys are cheating, you left before the event even started. The 12 women rushed out at the fastest speed. And Huaxian followed slowly behind them, looking at them cheerfully and happily. Smiles appeared on their faces. At the same time, he also thought of Huang Xingyu